Welcome to the Gamesline Podcast. We're back for the first time since the new year that wasn't a Game of the Year wrap-up.
Welcome.
So, normal podcast, not Game of the Year. It has been. It's me, John. I'm here hosting once again. And with me are a bunch of anime people.
Wow.
I mean, am I wrong? Am I lying to the public here? I don't think I am.
You don't gotta just say things just because they're true.
I'm an original character.
You're
I'm kind of original.
I'm a visual novel character.
All right, you know what? I'm sorry.
We're on a spectrum of originality.
I'm the most original of all because I'm one of
That's true.
Normal.
That's true.
John's a normal man.
For now. I don't fucking know. We'll see how it goes. Anyway. Folks, we're back to talk about gaming and video games and to do all this kind of stuff. It's been quite again. It's been quite a hectic time. A lot of the news that we have is just a bunch of insane bullshit that has occurred. First off, I should introduce everybody. I just realized I'm speedrunning here. I'm sorry. Yes, we have Lily here.
Excited.
Lily. Yeah, Lily, you're here. Hello, welcome to the show once again.
Hi, I'm here.
What have you been up to lately, Lily?
So, I have, given that we're in the new year and all, and this is still around the point of the year where we can, it's still got that fresh New Year smell. I have been revisiting a lot of things, going back in time, to go over a lot of properties that I did not originally give my attention. I'll talk about that a little later. But other than that, I've been in the dang mines as usual, writing, thinking about writing and gaming for the entertainment of the internet.
Those are the 5 things that you can do online. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. We also have Nikolas down here. Nikolas, how are you today?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. I'm having a time.
All right.
Facebook pretty well.
Yeah. What have you been up to? What's going on?
What have I been up to? Well, I've been 3D modeling. I've been playing a couple games. I've been coding. I've been job hunting. There's a lot of things. I've been drawing. There's a lot. We're going to talk about that today.
We can talk about drawings. What's going on with drawings?
Drawings?
Okay.
My drawings have been pretty... There's 5 different work in progress drawings I've made of Fire Emblem characters because I've been on a binge of that. Only one of them has been finished. I keep getting stuck. I know I'm going to have a week where I just blast through all of them and that's going to be fun. But I'm not going to be playing any games during that. So that's not a week where I'll be talking.
Yeah. You need to game. We all need to game.
It's like going to the seaside for your health, except for online people.
Drawing and gaming.
You gotta play the healthy games.
Rose, how about yourself? What's going on with you? What's new?
Hi.
What do you
video games. Do you know that new Trails game is 700 hours long? So I've just been doing that mainly, for the most part. I started a new medication, and it when they give you the bad side effects that are bad. That was me for the last week and a half. So I've sort of been like, whoa, Trails, yippee.
You've been dealing with the side effects while hearing about unks and oomfies.
And unks and oomphs and biases and blorbos.
Well, it's just any day on Blue Sky.
That's true.
Yeah. Absolutely.
A tale of unks and oomfies, eternally retold.
Oh.
Yes. If you would like, we could just hop right into the Trails talk, because I have also been... I was playing a Trails game. I finished the first chapter remake.
Yeah. How about that ending?
It was great. It was a good ending. If you want to talk about your stuff first, we can, or I can just, because I don't have anything that's too new.
We could go in chronological order. because you have this, and then I think Lily has Trails to Azure, and then mine's the most recent one. So
okay, that works. Sure,
we'll just spoil each other in sequence.
Yay! All right. So who dies? No. I finished Trails first. I won't go too in depth story wise, but I will just say that like I am really excited to see where things are going. The thing that the big thing that I said about this game, and you know, I think I don't remember who. I think I was talking about it with you, Lily, or someone. I don't remember exactly, but just that this is like this game is the most like a fantasy novel that I felt an RPG to be like. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but just like specifically in structure, specifically in that you are, it is setting up a story, it is setting up a world, and it is not just an entire game by itself. Like, you know, there's so many JRPGs that really feel like they need to have everything down pat, and this one was like, we know we are doing more after this. So we are setting this world up and not worrying as much about, you know, having a like there's still an overarching story where it's, you know, you're trying to, you know, figure out what's up with the queen and all that. But I just like that at the end of that game, I like that it was less like I just wanted more. And I wanted to, and I knew that there was going to be more, and I knew that it was going to build upon what was there. And like so many people have just been telling me like, yeah, you know, like that's exactly how I felt. I felt like after I became a fan of Trails after getting into second chapter instead of just after playing the first game, because second chapter is really where it starts to pay off. And like I'm happy with that. I'm fine with that because, you know, like the thing, like I kept bringing up Lord of the Rings, and it's like, you know, like Fellowship of the Ring is a good book, and you know, if you're talking about like a movie, like a Peter Jackson movie, like it's a good movie too by itself. But you know, the Two Towers and Return of the King pays everything off. It is a complete package with those three things. It's not just one part of the story. So you know, I'm it's really cool to see a video game like that isn't just about that sort of narrative desire to just be done and not let you live in that world.
I mean, yeah. I think knowing what I know now, especially having played and finished second chapter like super recently,
mm-hmm.
I think like part of the appeal to me, and this is like actually something I want to write about, so I'm not going to say too much, but lots of contemporaneous like other JRPGs do what I call like spiking the graph, where if the starting town isn't on fire and the main character hasn't become an orphan in an hour of play, it's like the writers assume you're going to be bored.
Yeah.
And not only does that not happen in Trails first, it's like, I mean, in a weird way, and I've said this repeatedly, I think on the podcast, it feels almost really Pokemon-y. You're going around the circuit, and then you return back to where you are, and obviously you're not the same, but it's very much that kind of... It is like a constitutional of a game. You are just having a pleasant little walk, and then you get to second chapter, and because you didn't spike the graph, you can go a little bigger for the start of the next game, and then a little bigger, and then a little bigger, and it becomes this incremental thing rather than, well, we've already fought God. How much bigger can we go?
God 2. Which, I mean, is what Xenoblade ends up doing, but, you know, that's fine.
God, he's right.
His name is Zanza.
I mean, you know, I'm more talking about, like, after that, because you basically, it's like Zanza's like God, and then God 2, and then, I mean, God, like, it's like God 3 and Xenoblade 3, so, you know. But no, I mean, I do appreciate that it feels somewhat, like, not fully realistic. You're fighting a mech by the end of that game, but it's fun. It's believable in the characterization, and I like it. I liked it quite a bit, but I'm definitely not trails pilled, as it were, I would say.
Take your meds, John.
As soon as that second chapter comes out, I'll take my second dose. All right. Well, we're waiting. Okay. But yeah, Lily, you also played Trails. You played to Azure. Where is that in the timeline?
So it is approximately a year after the big event that happens in second chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And it itself is a sequel to the Trails from Zero. And it's kind of interesting because I could see someone because I'll talk about the Crossbell arc kind of overlapping those two games, but one could see it as a retreading of the stuff with the bracers. But because the bracers also exist, it is kind of once again showing the socio-political ramifications of how ordinary people can be powerless to just solve the problems that are directly in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
And how, sometimes you have to do something kind of a little radical to make those changes. I understand someone could very dismissively say that the Crossbell arc is what if the bracers were actually cops. But to an extent, it's I don't know, the lightest amount of authority that this group can have. But specifically with Azure, it's had me ruminating a lot. And I made a post about it on Blue Sky, which was kind of about how a lot of JRPGs and RPGs in general, not even RPGs wide spanning, have what I can describe as a problem where they get a little too precious with the idea that you need to unlock the character.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're traveling with this guy and the protagonist will be like, so man, what's your deal? And the guy will be like, nothing, leave me alone. And Trails, especially because the game is so character oriented, you can just talk to a random guy on the street. Mm-hmm. And one of your characters will be like, oh, yeah, I know this guy. How have you been? I haven't seen you since XYZ. This guy used to be my teacher growing up or whatever. And
yeah, that was something that I initially really liked about Trails First Chapter, because it made you feel like you're in a lived environment because you were in the city that Joshua and Estelle grew up in. And so you were able to interact with people, and they knew who you were, you knew who they were, and so there was more of a back and forth there. And that is kind of gone for the rest of the game, but it's an understandable reasoning because they're going to different towns and they're meeting new people. And right at the end, there are just these few moments because it ends with a big festival, I'll just say. And so some folks from around the country do show up there for the festival, and it's not anything big, but you just see a couple of people that you helped out in the past from all the different cities that you went to, and that's great. And so it's again, I'm waiting for second chapter so that way it's okay, I'm sure I'm gonna make these claims and y'all are just gonna be yeah, no shit, or no, that's not absolutely not what happens. But what I am guessing they're just going to do is if you go back to those towns and stuff, you'll have that update with people. You'll be able to be yeah, I was here, a week ago in the game or whatever, and this is how I left the area, and now I'm back, and what has happened thanks to me helping you out, or just what have you been up to? And that's cool. That's fun.
But I mean, it transcends that even because of the save transfer system. Mm-hmm. having characters who are innocuous NPCs just be like, hey, I remember you. You helped me save my kid from the terrible tower, or you stopped that mayoral business. And that's really, really cool. But also, it does something else that I think a lot of RPGs fail at a lot of the time, which is there's a thing I notice where in a lot of games, your character ceases to be a person when they're not in a cutscene. So, like,
sure.
When Estelle sees something that she wants to comment on, the game recharacterizes her by making her talk about it rather than just stuff being like, okay, to give an example, right? I'll use 2 examples. In something like Final Fantasy, if you walk up to an NPC in those older games, the guy will just pivot, turn to you and be like, the guards have been really mean lately. And then your character has nothing to say about it. They just walk away. And that, like, it can rely on your imagination to imagine how those characters would respond to that, but it's not textual. Something like Xenoblade 2, on the other hand, tries to fake really badly that kind of interaction when every like dialogue with NPCs that isn't in a cutscene is for some reason procedurally generated. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, God, that's like the worst part of that game where like, yeah, you'll walk up to somebody and they'll be like, oh man, my kid, I'm so worried, and then it'll just be like, Poppy is curious about this. Well, Poppy, let's ask them what's wrong. And it's like they're like they're obviously like worried about their child, and they're just like, let's go help them out. Like it's like, oh my God,
like it doesn't totally match at all, and
never. It's just so like, random. Yeah,
I would have preferred you just say nothing. You know, at least then I could imagine it. And the reason that I like this in Trails does it really, really good, and actually Grandia does it really well, is when you walk up to a guy and a guy says like, this guy who just took over the military in my area is really busting my ass. I really fucking hate him. And the guy in your party who used to work with that faction pipes up and he says, yeah, that guy really fucking sucks. I hated him. Best of luck with that, bro. And the thing is, it's so cool because not only does it remind you that that character is alive, it recharacterizes the character because again, like, because again, it's about the world, like you said, but it's also giving you little like bips and bobs. Like, there's a new character they introduced in Azure. And every time she's on screen, I call her Truck Freak because so far the thing that they have characterized her as is that she likes fucking cars, I guess. But anytime anyone is next to a car in that game, you can talk to them and this party member will just be like, yeah, not as good as my car. My car is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they do fix that up in Xenoblade 3 pretty well, I would say. So, you know, I'm not too worried about the future of that particular franchise, but yeah, for sure. I want to see where it goes. And yeah, I did do every quest, and as you know, I didn't do 100%. Like, I think I missed some chests or something. I don't know. But I did most of the game.
You're reading the chest messages, right?
There are no chest messages.
Are there not?
The remake, no.
Terrible.
No, yeah. I know.
It's a crime.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, the other thing is, especially with it being the remake, it's really funny because you obviously had the experience of playing those games, and like the side quests and stuff are like demarcated, so it's just like on your little mini map. I have played those games, and then I like would open a guide just to double check something, and it'll be like, you missed 60 quests because you didn't talk to this one guy. And the thing is, I don't hate that, you know, because it adds a kind of texture to like something like a replay if I ever wanted to, knowing what I missed or didn't engage with. And I think that's cool.
I did almost miss some stuff just because of like some timing stuff where it was like I was in the middle of a quest and then I went and did something And then it was like I moved the story further, and then it was like, oh no, wait, no, did I miss like a trigger to keep being able to do this? And then it turned out that I didn't. But it was like one of those things where it was like I couldn't interact with it for like ages, so I was just like sitting there being like, oh man, did I screw this up? I can't go, like, every time I try to walk down this path, someone's like, no, you gotta go this way, you gotta do the main story, and I'm like, I have to finish the side quest, and then I was finally able to do it, and it was okay, but I was scared shitless the entire time, and yeah, like, again, like Crystal's saying in the chat, like, one of the best parts of a side quest is not doing it. I want to do everything that I can, and I understand that there is that, like, little friction, and that, like, you know, making it your own story by doing and not doing certain things, but I also am like, I want to see it.
I mean, I feel I mean, even outside of your personal desire for that kind of thing, I feel like it's kind of just part of role playing accurately in that game. You are playing as the community outreach faction, and kind of knowing that you are materially helping people instead of just them being like, you gotta get me 8 weeds from the woods. All right, thanks. Whereas in this, like, yeah, they have, like, the give me 8 weeds from the woods, but then the priest that you deliver it to will be like, this is vital for making medicine that helps children. You've really helped us. And that feels more important than just, you know, having a box that you just dump shit into and then nobody cares or mentions it ever again.
And also, usually the characters are talking while they're collecting said weeds about things.
And I don't know. I just think that the Trails games are very well written if you are the kind of person who cares a lot about characters.
Tell me about Azure, though. More about that.
So, the other interesting thing that they've changed on, like, a mechanical level is I joked with my partner, and I said that they added a hype and aura gauge for the the climaxes of the chapters. Okay. Where they basically have a thing, and I don't know if this, like, carries on forward, because Trails loves to add mechanics and then never bring them up ever again. But basically you have, like, this morale gauge where if you cap out the morale gauge, it just instantly makes all of your attacks instantaneous and just gives everyone 2 turns, and it's crazy.
Okay.
I love that. Finally adding, like, a type of diegetic fast travel into the game is super cool.
Okay. You get a car.
Yeah, you get a car that you can decorate and Truck Freak won't shut up about. The funny thing about the car in that game is, like, you know how in other games, like, you can just fast travel point to point and you don't need to think about it?
Sure.
You can accidentally leave your car somewhere and then have to walk all the way back to your car.
That's pretty good.
Or you have to hit the, like, remote control my car back to the garage button. So you can end up in a situation where you need to take the fucking bus home or the bus out to go pick your car back up, just like real life. What else is really interesting? I think that the thing that they introduced in Zero that I really, really liked and that carries over is, like, the team techs. Very Chrono Trigger coded. But I love knowing that our characters actually get along well enough to fight alongside each other in combat, and we're not just getting teleported into the violence dimension anytime fighting happens. The funny thing that you mentioned about side quests is actually something I had, like, a really big issue with in some capacities, because, again, it'll just say, like, time frame short, and it's never clear just how short is. I feel like they get better about that the newer the games get, because in something like Zero or in Trail's first chapter, I was constantly having to load back saves because I accidentally talked to someone that advanced the plot because I forgot. They do a really, really good job of it in Azure, and they also do a thing that I like, which is, like, a lot of the quests overlap, where it's like you're not going all the way to this side of the map and all the way to the other. It's also like, okay, well, the hospital has, like, 2 side quests in it already, so we can do that on the way, and then you can double back to Mining Town. And, you know, it's it's a very thoughtfully constructed game. And this is an odd thing I notice in a lot of games, is that obviously, like, whenever your character, like, fucking sleeps in an inn, it's, like, non-canonical because, you know, you can't nap through the apocalypse unless your name is Persona. In this game, because the days are canonically demarcated, they can do a really good job of indicating, oh, a day has passed, so of course this guy has something new to say. And if you are a maniac, you can 100% clock the entire map to talk to everyone, and they will have something new to say. But
Sure.
That's maniac behavior, and I can't abide by that.
So you didn't do it?
I didn't, but sometimes I frequently feel really, really bad about it. Because in stuff like Trails, what's crazy, and I think I talked to you about this watching you play first chapter, you can go to places early and see events that will happen later starting out. Like, there's parts where there's like, oh, like there's a robbery that's about to happen. You can literally see the robbers, like, preparing for the heist in advance, but your characters just don't know that that's what's going to happen. You just know that this guy's being a bit suspicious. Or in Azure, you can be like, this guy that you are keeping an eye on bought a suspicious package, and you're like, oh, that'll probably come up. And you even get rewards for noticing it early.
Totally. Yeah. They do some of that in first chapter as well. Like, you know, someone's just like, hey, did you notice that this person was doing this? And it's like, you know, they do a little, they do the little of the devil, like, reading comprehension checks here and there.
It makes me feel so fucking bad when I get it wrong, where they're like, so Lloyd, what do you think that the evil criminal syndicate is doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I was just reading and not using my comprehension. I'm sorry.
You gotta read good. Reading good. So, is there anything else you want to bring up about Trails to Azure? I mean, I didn't go too in depth about first, but
it's really, really good, and I'm having a good time, and I'm gonna play more of it.
Awesome.
How you rocking with Randy Orlando in that game? Because I think he is fucking goated in that one.
He is going big time angst mode, and I love seeing a guy who puts on posturing broken. I love that.
He's awesome.
Actually, John, I have a question.
Fire away.
I asked you a while ago, and you didn't have an answer, but I'm asking you now. Who is your favorite character in Trails' first chapter?
That's a bit difficult. I would say it might be a little cliche, but I like Estelle as a main character quite a bit. I like, you know, she's definitely like a kind of like the plucky protag kind of thing, but I respect that they did that they make her a bit different by having her be, you know, she is headstrong, she is powerful and all that, but she's also, you know, questioning herself here and there, and then her like kind of having to figure out her feelings about Joshua throughout the game. Like, I know that it's fucking weird how they do it, but like it's still almost like they do it kind of right. They do it in a way that makes sense, where it's just like if you were to just take it from just initial like point of view, where it's like, okay, yeah, here's these two characters that are basically like step siblings kind of, and then by the end of the game they're like into each other. It's like, but they figured out like they thread that needle, that teeny tiny little hole. They somehow do it and make it make sense and make it compelling. And it's crazy that I'm saying that, because it's just like they're, you know, they're very believable characters, and their like relationship is very believable, and the way that Joshua has his past and how he's integrated into like that family, it makes sense. And it like by the end of it, yeah, I was rooting for Estelle. I was like, dude, like, you know, I like not only do, you know, they have their scene, but I'm excited to see what happens in the second one, specifically because I want to see their relationship go forward, you know? Like, it's interesting.
Just wait.
Okay. Absolutely.
And I will also say you're absolutely correct. They do get it, but if they were like 1% worse at writing, it would have been 1%. It would have been terrible.
It's crazy. Like, yeah, like absolutely, like 1%. Like if they were just a little bit off, it'd have been like, but they figured it out somehow. I don't know. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like so many people are just like are like icked by it, and I get it. But then if you actually like play through it and you see it, it's like, okay, that makes sense. All right.
The other thing is, like I said, like Estelle really has like the shonen protag energy. Like she just wants to help and she's kind of, you know, simple-minded. But also it does the thing that so many stories forget, which is it gives her a textual reason to want to help people.
Yeah. I mean,
she feels guilty.
Yeah, it's her, you know, like unknowing, like it's interesting because like she's living in the shadow of her father and she doesn't even know it. And then when she realizes it, it makes her want to do more. And that's compelling, where it's just like, yeah, cuz like she doesn't understand that Cassius is this like super famous, super like strong, the guy that everyone turns to, and she is, you know, she wants to be that, you know, for just her, like, because she just likes helping people. But over time, like, people are just like, oh yeah, no, we all knew that Cassius was this great guy who saved the country and can kill everybody by snapping at them. But that just makes her be like, A, why didn't y'all tell me? B, I'm not gonna let him, you know, I don't want to be in his shadow. I want to stand next to him.
Your dad, who sucks, but also totally owns, is a oft unexplored character archetype.
It's so fucking funny. Like, I really, like, I get why they had him just fuck off for this entire game, but and also, I know that y'all are probably just gonna, you know, y'all don't know, or y'all know more, but like my hope is just that he just keeps fucking off and then just shows up and they're just like, oh, okay. Like I don't want to see too much of like his exploits. I just want it to be, like, it's so funny to have just the most milquetoast looking dad, capital D dad character just being like, he's the guy who killed a dragon by laughing at it loud enough, you know. It's just like, all right. it's really funny.
It's that, and I also just like how Trails comes up with believable reasons why the strong guy can't just fix everything by being really good at fighting that a lot of media fails at. Like, why can the man with the strongest sword technique in the world simply not cut social inequity in half with his sword?
I don't know. Maybe he's just got to sharpen it a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Well, Rose, do you want to talk about your Trails endeavors?
Yeah. So, Trails Beyond the Horizon. Let me count in my head which one it is. I should have done that. So there's three Sky games. There's 2 Crossbell games. There's 4 Cold Steel games.
Okay.
There's Reverie. So that's 10.
Okay.
And so this is the 13th game.
Okay.
This is the 3rd Daybreak game. But it has 3 protagonists. Though Van Arkwright, the Trails Through Daybreak protagonist, is kind of the main one. The other 2 protagonists are Reen Schwarzer from Trails of Cold Steel.
Okay.
And Kevin Graham, who you will meet in Trails Second when it comes out.
He's Green Vash the Stampede.
Yeah, he sure is. He's the protagonist of Trails Third also.
Okay, yeah. I do know that Trails Third has like a completely different, at least protag. I don't know about like the full party, but
No, yeah, you'll see.
You'll see.
Okay, yeah.
I doubt they'll remake that one, so you might have to go old school, but it's fine.
That's fine.
It's separated across routes basically per chapter. It'll be like, hey, do the Reen part here if you want. You can pick and choose what order you do them in, but you have to do them all before you move on to the next chapter, which is a format they started doing in Reverie. And it's an interesting format. It worked okay in Trails Through Daybreak 2 also, because they had characters from Reverie in there. But I was a little worried going in that they would steal the spotlight from Van Arkride, who is my GOAT, my MC, my favorite main character that they've done so far. But thankfully, no, it's fine. They're very much supplementary characters, Kevin and Reen. But they're interesting. They give a different view of the world because they're sort of, based around their things and concepts from their games and how it relates to the current game. Because what's happening in this one is, so this takes place in Calvard, which is where Jin is from.
Okay.
From Trails in the Sky. So Calvard is like an American French combination republic. And it's very much an immigrant melting pot because it's the furthest east country. So it has a ton of immigrants from the east. Tons of like Chinatown, like entire sections of the country that have just been taken over by immigrants, basically, and stuff like that. And the ongoing theme in a lot of the Daybreak games is white nationalism and stuff like that keeps happening. And so that's been really interesting over the course of the past few games. But the focus point of this game is that they're going into space. They have been developing the space program over the course of the games, and they're going to launch a rocket into outer space.
I mean, I guess that's not that surprising, but okay, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what's crazy about these games. It's an industrial revolution where we went from the invention to the cell phone to Gundams in like less than 8 years.
But also, a thing that I really like is they do imply consistently throughout the series that liberal is super hick zone, kind of, for lack of a better comparison, like word to use. Like, liberal is like, yes, they are very good at technology, but it's like technology that's practical because of the type of country they live in.
Okay.
So it's like, they have airships, they have transit stuff, they have things to get around the fact that they live in a country that is mostly mountains when you look at it, kind of. And when you get to the Empire, you can see that the Empire is also a very old-fashioned place in Cold Steel, but because it's an imperial nation, they're constantly stealing the technological innovations and things from other regions. So like Crossbell is very high tech in Trails from Zero. You're seeing the invention of cell phones, the internet, etc. But the Empire is still so far behind that it's like, yeah, the kid who transferred in from Crossbell is going to teach you about like how a computer works or whatever, but the people in the Empire are going to be like, what? Huh? I live in the mountains. I'm a noble prince. I don't know about that. And Calvert is like that to an extreme because it is on the complete other side of the continent from liberal, kind of, a little bit. And it's like they have had movies for 20 years. Like they have movie theaters, they have movies, they've had cell phones for like 9 years or something. And now they're up to a point where it's like, everyone has like a smartphone, basically. They call them T-phones. And all the technological stuff in Daybreak is crazy. It is a bit of an extreme compared to how it's been progressing in the past, but it's fun. I really like it because it means they get more contemporary with it and they have real issues. Like a quest I really liked in Daybreak 2 is you can walk into the Bracer Guild all the time and you can see the Bracer NPCs going, we really have to pass our cybersecurity exam this time. Like we being taught like how to help people with like getting locked out of their bank account or being hacked or being sent spam emails and stuff like that. And it's just like seeing the Bracers getting taught that is awesome. But it's really, you've already seen they put a mech at the end of Sky First, right? But it obviously gets to insane levels with mechs in the future. And that's continuing now. So it's the fun thing that I've really enjoyed in Horizon is that Van Arkride can turn into a common rider, basically. Like, he gets a henshin.
Sure.
And he can just, like, go into the super mode where he can do five turns in one turn, basically. And that's fun. But what they did is they also, having that unique type of combat, they also brought back, in a sense, the mech combat from Cold Steel, which was unique, which I thought was funny, since Reen has mech. So they've been doing things with combat that are interesting. There are some things called Brave Orders in the later games where you can basically just activate like a window of buffs, sort of. So like, hey, like for the next 8 turns, physical damage is up, or for the next 8 turns, like your damage taken will be halved or something like that. So you have to be a little smart with it. And they brought that back in Horizon. So you get to, but enemies also do them a lot. So it's this funny thing of like, sometimes you'll be in a fight and like, so, okay. Let me explain a character first. There is,
please.
So you have been introduced to Ouroboros vaguely now. Vaguely at the end of first.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're an ongoing problem.
I figured.
There's a member of Ouroboros in Trails Beyond the Horizon named Ulrika, and she is the influencer. And she is a streamer. And all of her dialogue is insane. Like, she's saying stuff like Blorbos, she's saying DILF, she's calling Van only Vans, stuff like that.
She is my enemy.
She's everyone in the party's enemy. Everyone in the party hates her every time she says anything. But when you fight her, she's not fighting. She's usually with one of her other Ouroboros oomphs, and all she does is do those Brave Order type things where she's just coming in to activate like a window of 8 turns, but they're like super strong. So it's like minus your damage 300%. And she's like starting a flame war, fuck you, or something like that. Like, or like bias confirmed. And then she gives a buff to her people.
Okay. You found the character who turned rage baiting into a mechanic.
It's awesome. So I really like that character, and I think it's funny how it interplays with that new mechanic they added. The new mechanic's also pretty good because it means that a problem that will continue to happen in Trails is... so Trails' first chapter is pretty smart about the party members you have, because it's sort of divided by region, and second chapter is pretty similar. And a lot of the games still do a thing where it'll be like, you know, like, hey, you're supposed to take X group of people around, but you can only fit 4 people in a party. And they try to get around this with some support slots and stuff like that. But like Trails from Cold Steel, Trails and Cold Steel. How many characters?
It's like a whole classroom, right?
Yeah.
And like some teachers and all that. So
and then there's a second class. And there's also all the people on the fringes. So it's like when you get into Trails into Reverie, which is a combination of Zero and Cold Steel. You have, I mean, also everyone from Trails in the Sky is in Cold Steel 4 and Reverie also. So you have like, you've seen the pictures probably. It's like 55 people on the screen. And it's like, how are you going to use all those people in your party realistically? Genuinely.
Very carefully.
Yeah.
There's an easy answer to this. We have to get to Wonderful 101 territory.
That's true. Either Wonderful 101 or Suikoden, having just played that recently. Like, let me force fucking Charizard to run the bar. Maybe that's a bad idea, actually, but something like that. But yeah, in Daybreak, so like you have a support slots basically for support characters who were sort of guest party members in past games, who like wouldn't have fought directly, and now they can just be like, "Hey, I'm in the corner and I'm going, hell yeah, go 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 go." And I think that's a fun way of translating it. Story-wise, to talk about I'm not going to talk about the main story that much because it's completely insane and I couldn't even begin to explain it to you. It's really good. It's really, really good. But I do want to say about NPCs. This one in particular is like, I think the Daybreak NPCs are really, really good. They have a lot of long-running stories between all three of the games that you get to see. Like, there's one that you get to see this nun in the first game who is just constantly looking at two girls talking to each other on the street in like random locations across the game every time. And you can see her going, oh my God, they're in love. Oh my God. And then you walk up to those girls and they're like, man, I'm fucking tired. I want to go to bed. And like, they're not like, they'll be talking about the straightest thing you've ever heard in your life. And then like, you just get to see that nun go everywhere. And then like, eventually you get to the point where she goes to the bar or whatever to do something. And she's just like, this other woman's like, hey, you're gay, right? Like, you're gay. And she goes, I don't know what you're talking about. So you get to see that over 3 games. And then like there was this one where, so there's this blacklight district is what it's called, where is basically all like, you know, poor or like ex-mercenary people live. People who have been criminalized by society sort of in the section of the city. And there's this woman who runs a bar who is an ex-Jaeger, which is the mercenaries in the Trails world. And she has her son, and her son is just like happy, you know, hanging out with her at the bar that she runs there. But she's like always sad that he doesn't get a real life. And then you get to see like one of your party members in the first game mentions like offhandedly, like, hey, like, you know, the church is really helpful and understands stuff like this. You could probably get him to go to school pretty easily. And then like in the second game, you get to see him start going to school and like talk to people, and her going to like the parent days and being like awkward and being like worried. And then like them all being like, no, he talks about you all the time and how wonderful you are. And she's just like, oh, and just like getting to see that relationship continue over 3 games is so good. There's this one that you get multiple quests about. In Daybreak 2, there's this girl that you can find doing graffiti in one of the towns, and you basically introduce her to a traveling merchant who's in all of those Daybreak games. And if you talk to him later, you can see that he's brought her home back to the main city, and she's doing graffiti like everywhere, and everyone's like, holy shit, this graffiti's really good. And then you get to see her like gradually getting more and more popular, and like, oh, look, the you know, public baths or whatever. They got her to do a giant graffiti mural. And then there's like people there going, oh my God. And like an art critic going, oh. And then in this game, you get to see her that they have now her displaying stuff in the MoMA that they have.
That's good.
And so like, but then you get a side quest like halfway through Horizon that's like, oh, she's sabotaging her own work because she's mad about like how her work has become commodified by rich people. And you can sort of see like the boiling point up to that point by talking to her over the course of the end of the last game and the beginning of this one. And it's just really cool because none of that's marked, kind of. You just have to go, oh, I know that person. I'm going to go talk to her.
I love characters.
It's so good. And like the interplay in Daybreak specifically stuff with these ones is like, there's a woman who tries to paint the Eiffel Tower every day in all 3 games, and she's just like, I'm failing. And she starts raging at the fucking teenager who's good at graffiti. She's like, she's so much better at art, and she's like 20 years younger than me. And then like you just get to see like that interplay of those 2 characters who have never met each other just raging. It's so good. I really like it. I'm close to the end now, and it's getting really crazy. I really, really am looking forward to it because everyone has said this one has a really crazy ending, and that's why they're all mad that the second game hasn't come out. Because this came out at the beginning of last year, I think.
This is, if I remember correctly, though, I think they are caught up now, though.
Yeah, we are caught up in English, but this came out in Japan, I think, at the beginning of last year, or maybe the end of 2024. I can't remember. Either way, it came out, and then they're like, well, we don't know when the next one is. And it's like,
It'll be when it happens.
Yeah, hopefully they don't just keep remaking things. I'm sure it'll be fine.
On indefinite hiatus until we improve the visual fidelity.
No. I'm glad they're remaking Trails in the Sky because I think they're cool, even though I don't think it's that necessary, but it's still cool. I think the combat's better in that remake for sure than the original.
I mean, they are, at the end of the day, incredibly playable games.
Yeah.
There's very little that's like lost by like them being relatively low fidelity compared to like a modern release. Like, believe it or not every dang game needs to look like Clair Obscur to be playable.
Yeah, I think that the main reason they did it was probably just because I think they are low-key obsessed with how the fact that they used to design things PC first and want to do the opposite, kind of. I don't know how... Because obviously you can play Trails original with a controller, but those menus are clearly designed for mouse keyboard to some extent. And a lot of Falcom games are designed like that. So I think that there's just like a thing in their minds that are like, no, we have to design it console first or something like that. Because they changed the menus for those Evolution ports of Trails from Zero and stuff that are the ones we have now.
Yeah.
But yeah, great game. I'm loving it. It's also really long though. Really long. Side quests are really good. And I think in this one specifically, they do a great job of having them foreshadow and imply things in the main story a lot in advance, which is really cool. But there's a lot of them. And I can understand why some people complained about the pacing of this game, because it's like serious, real big stuff is happening all the time. And then you're just kind of like, all right, I'm Van Arkride. Someone lost their phone on the subway. Here I go.
Here we go. We do have someone in the chat here, Aspiring Shoulder, who is asking, what are some of your favorite Aaron quotes from the game? How are you feeling about Aaron?
Aaron is incredible. I think my favorite Aaron quote right now has to be when they were criticizing him for how much he drinks, because he was drinking a bunch during the day. They're like, it's 4 p.m. and you're already putting back like your third beer or whatever. Like, you're gonna get fat. And Aaron just goes, I'm not gonna get fat. Every night I get my exercise in, going to Pound Town. And Katra just goes like, I hate you so much.
Oh my god.
Jesus. Oh my god.
He's awesome. My favorite quote in the first Daybreak still has to be when he's having an emotional heart-to-heart discussion with Van, and then he puts his head on Van's shoulder and he goes, made you hard?
I'm gonna die.
He's a nightmare. He's the worst guy you ever know, and also he cross-dresses.
Sure. All right, Nikolas, I think we've had you waiting long enough. Is there something that you want to speak on? What gaming have you done? Did you play a Trails game, or what have you been playing?
I have not played a Trails game. I haven't played a Trails game since I finished the first one, because I wanted to do a second one on Twitch as like a Gamesline thing, but it hasn't come about yet. I don't think I'm going to play it independently because I wasn't super into the first one, but I do want to talk about a different game. So, Rose was mentioning a thing in one of the games where you can see like a woman raging at an artist because they're a very talented artist, much younger, correct?
Yep.
Do I recall that correctly?
Yep.
Okay. That's how I feel right now hearing you guys talk about RPGs that have like interesting worlds and characters, because I played a Fire Emblem 3 House. Okay, so Fire Emblem 3 Houses. The last time I was on the pod, I had gotten up to about the end of 3 time skip. There was like a map or 2 left, and my opinions on it were, this game is really weird. I'm excited to see where they go with it. And at this point, I have now hit time skip, and I have done multiple maps in time skip, and I'm so fucking mad at this game because it's like, it has nothing. It has nothing. I'm trying to find out the best way to describe this. So it is a game that is like, you're a little professor at this cool school of high schoolers who are all these silly little characters, but something big is brewing on the horizon. Something bad gonna happen. And then the time skip hits and the something bad happens. and then the game goes on the exact way it was going before, and it's so goddamn infuriating to me that it's like they set up this big intrigue of world building and characters and like this social inequality story, right? That's like the whole crux of so much of the setup of the pre-time skip. And then when it hits, the characters are still like the same high schoolers as they were before. They just have slightly sadder battle quotes. You're still doing everything inside the school that you were doing pre-time skip, except they have 2 models of rubble added onto different portions of the map to showcase, oh, this place has fallen in disrepair. By the way, in a cutscene, they said they repaired every single thing in this building right after you got here. Like, they just didn't care at all about it. And then the story, like, a single character has, like, can defect from you because they don't believe in your cause. A big, like, when the game is talking about how much people in this game are willing to, like, be manipulative and sneaky and leave for their own personal causes, and then you just get them back after you kill them. You don't actually have to kill them. It's like they were building up something, and it infuriates me that when they got to the payoff, there's nothing. Everyone acts the exact same. The story doesn't have anything to say. It pissed me off so much. I'm so mad. I'm like raging at you guys getting games that like care about the progression of time and what they're saying, and I have to sit over here and it's like, well, I spent 70 hours on a strategy game that pretended something happened, and I have to go back to hanging out in fucking Persona Harry Potter and a story about social inequality, the best 2 things for a story about that to be compared to. Like, god damn, dude. I cannot believe that I got hit with this. I feel like someone slapped me in the face. It's so funny that, like, I was talking about how invested in this game I was before on a prior podcast, though, and I just heard everyone else on it saying, man, I hate Three Houses, and I was like, I don't get it. What's so hateable? And now I know. It's like the game is pretending to be intense. It's pretending to, like, it has something to say, and I genuinely think I might just drop it because it's super easy. I'm not invested in the story at all because there's not a story to be invested in. It's like pretending it's about something is what it feels like. Maybe it's better on the other routes, but this one has felt extensive and like, I don't know, it's not the one that's like 5 maps shorter than every other route in the game. I'm not feeling like this was one they just threw together. So it's really frustrating that there's just no payoff to anything in the game. There's a cutscene where Claude will talk to Lorenz about how he shouldn't betray them for like his own viewpoints of what they need as a group. And you can do that. Like, he can betray you on other routes. He can't do it on this one. I looked at, it's like the one route where they could have a character who is important to this house, like, betray the group and defect for his own ideologies, and they cut him doing that. They had the potential to do something, and they got rid of it, and it pisses me off. Why am I playing this game?
I don't know.
What is Fire Emblem like this?
Three Houses is just particularly pretty bad about it, and Fates had not great writing, but at least slightly better character writing in a lot of ways. Of like, it's just the thing about Three Houses was when I played Three Hopes, the Muso game, I thought it had better writing, almost genuinely, because it was like,
oh, that's bad.
It has like the same amount, but it feels like they're wasting way less time. I think Three Houses really suffers from, if they had just, and it's clear to me because like I think every freaking Black Eagles player says this, but if you play the Black Eagles route with Edelgard, it becomes super clear that they have like the most focus politically on that narrative. Like they have a good idea of what they're doing with that character. Every other story in the game kind of revolves around things related to that, etc. Like, if they had just focused on that instead of trying to do this stupid 4 routes thing, I I think that game would be way more coherent and also feel good.
100%.
But as is, it's like this weird incomplete game where a ton of characters just feel half-baked if you're not doing all routes. And also, if you do all routes, the gameplay sucks so bad. The gameplay sucks
on
bad.
one route.
I know. It hurts less if you do Black Eagle since it's shorter. But I remember doing Golden Deer after and just being like, man, you just fucking walk around the cathedral forever. You just always do this. Like, this is, and you know, that's something that's a problem with. I know you'll talk about Engage, and that's still a problem they bring over to Engage. But
I feel like even if it was just 2 houses, that would be better.
It was just 2 options, like Fire Emblem Shadows.
Yeah, the Golden Deer has like they're just there. It feels so worthless, and it's really sad because like a lot of those characters are good, but it's just like they just like Claude's entire thing is like he has no real stakes when it's like Edelgard and Dimitri are at each other's necks, and Claude is just literally just like, I'm here too. How's it going, everybody?
Edelgard's and he's the one positioned as a schemer.
Yeah.
And he's like, he has no reason to be. He's just there.
In Edelgard's route, he literally just leaves. Like, you beat him and he goes, all right, see ya, boss, and just fucking goes on a boat and leaves. Whereas, like, yeah, if it was 2, which granted, Dimitri's route is really bad, but you know, if they had focused more on it, it could have been better. And also, like, Claude is an interesting thing to put between those 2 routes as an option of how the story could change, maybe, for each side.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah,
yeah.
Like, it feels like I'm playing a game where the gameplay is I'm watching someone else react to the story because nothing's happening. These characters are telling me that they are in a horrible war. I'm being told that they've gone, like, what is it, 5 or 10 years dealing with the horrors of war.
I believe you,
but they're still just the fucking students. They're still just the kids that I'm, like, eating lunch with and seeing supports about how just the other day I got a complaint that Lorenzo was acting weird to women. Like, what do you mean the other day? There was a time skip. Did you forget what the point of the game was? Did you think at all? Why did you do this? Why did you base your game around a concept that you can't bake at all? I don't get it. Nothing comes together. It feels like a train crash. It's so frustrating.
All right, well, we've been going for a bit now. We talked about some games. We've got a lot of news, and all of it's real. Well, not all of it's real dumb, but a lot of it's real dumb. I think we could maybe hop on the Nintendo Direct, kind of just run through that real quick. I don't want to just like do all of it because I don't want it to take up too much time. But if y'all want to look at the list of things that were on the Nintendo Direct and you want to like pick some things that you liked, you can absolutely do so. I will talk about the thing that made me the happiest and made me the most excited from this Nintendo Direct. Was console archives, which they had their segment with Hamster. Hamster does Arcade Archives. They've been doing Arcade Archives 2 recently, which is where they're doing more high-end arcade games, and also I think they're going back and redoing some of the games that they did previously to do a better job on. Like they've been doing, I think they did Ridge Racer 1, and they just did Rave Racer. But then they said, oh, hey, we have console archives now. So it is a completely, like, it is a new, like, line of things that they're doing, where it is, games that were only released on console, or, like, their console versions of stuff. And so far they have games that were on NES and PS1. So they have announced the first games that will be released, and some of them have already been released. They have released a port of Ninja Gaiden 2 for the NES, and Cool Borders, the PS1 game. Those are both out on Switch too. I don't know if they're on other consoles, but they're on Switch too. Which is exciting because they're doing really good ports of PS1 games. And these are games that, like, Cool Borders got released already on PS Plus. And that version of the game was, it was fine, but it was kind of smoothed out. It was more of like an emulation sort of thing. This is like a more high-end port. And it looks way better. Runs real good. They are putting in the effort for these games. And I am so excited. Like, the possibilities are endless. You could just list any, like, they've got deals with Tecmo and Konami and Bandai Namco already, and I think Capcom and SNK and stuff. So, like, let's just see what happens. Here's the other games that they've confirmed. They're going to have Doraemon, which is a Famicom game, I suppose I should say. That'll be out on the 30th of July, so it's a while from now. Nobunaga's Ambition, which was I think that's the NES version. Mag Max, which I don't know anything about that. Sonic Wings Special, which was on PS1 and I think also Saturn. So, I mean, if they're doing Saturn games too, let's see what happens. Daizemon Plus, Rhapsody, a Musical Adventure, which is another game where it's like, oh shit, because they did, they had that on one of the Prinny collections. So that's a new port of that. Master of Monsters, Disciples of Gaia, UFO, A Day in the Life, and I was shaken to my core when I saw this in the trailer. Like, they're porting Monster Rancher Hop About. Do you know Monster Rancher Hop About?
I don't.
Please tell me.
It is a game where you play as the Monster Rancher monsters, and there is this expanse in front of you. It is this long, like, rock lane, and you're bouncing on a pogo stick, or sometimes like Suezo, he's got his tail, he's bouncing on his tail, and you're trying to land on little, like, squares to get different effects, and that's it.
Thank God. They preserved it.
They have preserved this game for all time. You're going to be able to play this in your Nintendo Switch too. And, I mean, I'm happy about that just because I want weird-ass games like that to be preserved. I want bad stuff to be preserved too. Because, like, they did Trio the Punch on Arcade Archives. That, like, iconic shitty game. I want them to do that stuff. Like, I was talking to a friend about, like, oh, hey, what kind of stuff do we want to get on here? And they mentioned, oh, hey, it would be cool to do, like, light gun games with a Switch mouse. And then as soon as they said that, we both went, oh, wait a minute, we both went and grabbed a picture of fucking Not Treasure Hunter and posted that. Like, oh, that's a Kemco game. They could do Not Treasure Hunter. And that game is dog shit. But they need to do it because everyone needs to see how bad Not Treasure Hunter is. Like, that's what I want. And then I'm also, my pipe dream hope, and I don't know how off base it is. My more realistic hope is I hope that they do Ridge Racer Type 4, because if they're doing all these other Ridge Racer games, if they're going to do a PS1 game, they should do Type 4 for sure. But my pipe dream hope is that they do the Digimon World games. I want them to port those games, and they need to give 2 a speed up button, so it's not the slowest game in the world. That is my hope, but I'm trying to be reasonable. I don't know. Before we move on, I guess I will ask all of you: are there any? I guess from NES to PS1, are there any games that you want to see them touch up? That I guess are like Namco or Tecmo or Konami or the like, perhaps. I guess in that vein.
I hate old games. Just joking. No, I I think the only things I care about are like, where's Xenogears? Not Xenogears, Xenosaga. Where's Xenosaga? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? That's Namco.
Talk about that later. That is. Oh yeah, another thing that got brought up was Deception.
Oh sure, that's a good one. Actually,
games.
That is
Deception
a good
would be
one.
cool. Yeah, Deception would be really cool. Mm-hmm. Lily, is there anything that you would like? I feel like you might have an answer.
Listen. I'm on the same bus as Rose with this one. I'm not gonna lie to you. Giving me an excuse for that. It's the one brain cell. It's pinging around.
I mean, I will say we don't know if they're doing PS2. This is up to PS1 so far. If they announce some I don't know how good their tech is. You know, like I don't know how, you know, like whatever their like setup is, how reasonable it would be to do the work for PS2 games, because you know you can remake or remaster a PS2 game, but I just don't know what their tools are to do that kind of stuff. But we'll see. I wanna see where they go with this. Like there are so many like available options. Nikolas, is there anything that you would want to see?
No.
Okay.
I have Duck Station. My brain says, this game needs a remake. Go fuck yourself, like that one YouTube comment reply.
I mean, they're ports. They're not remakes.
Are they not super touched up?
No, it's just basically creating an emulation layer that works really well.
Oh, then that's fine. I don't know any games that are specifically tied to the companies doing it. That'd be interesting. I mean, Rhapsody sounds nice because that's those kind of people. So I could probably just get that already, anyways. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
It's in one of the Prinny collections, but this will probably be a better emulation than what NAS put out. So, all right. I guess I'll just talk about some other stuff that I thought was cool. They released, if we're gonna keep talking about retro stuff, they did a Bomberman collection, which is from Super Bomberman to Super Bomberman 5, and then also the two NES Bomberman games. Which, you know, that's not anything crazy, but it's nice, and I would like for them to keep doing these sorts of collections for Bomberman, because I would like for them to do more 32 and 64-bit stuff. Like, I want them to do, like, Saturn Bomberman and Bomberman 64 and Bomberman Hero, obviously, but, like, these games are great, too. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad that they did this, and I am bummed that they announced a Goemon collection on the Japanese Direct that has not been announced for localization. I'm really hoping that changes. That might be something that they're not going to do, but like they translated all those shitty Yu-Gi-Oh games. Like, come on, those games have to have like similar amounts of text to Goemon games. I don't know. Maybe I'm off base with that, but I feel like Goemon would probably sell better than the Yu-Gi-Oh collection, but also, what do I know?
You know, John, this is a tangent, but I've been watching Game Center CX recently, the more modern ones. Mm-hmm. Have you seen like what that the newer subtitle people do, where they just subtitle literally everything? It's fucking crazy.
I've seen a few newer episodes. I haven't noticed that. I need to. I'm gonna get back onto Game Center CX for sure. But is it like how crazy is it? What do they do?
They did Clock Tower 2 as an example. These subtitles, for Clock Tower 2, a PS1 game, they translated all the dialogue and used the localized names. It's crazy, that. And they do that for all the games too, where they're just using the localized titles and everything.
I respect that.
But it does mean they won't. They're not doing subtitles for a lot of the more complex PS2 games he's playing because the amount of text.
That's a shame. Is there anything that you all saw on the Direct that you want to talk about?
Paranorma Site is hype. I'm excited for that. I really like the first Paranorma Site. Looks like this one has even more gameplay, which is cool. Because it's basically an adventure game. Like, it is a visual novel, but it is still very in the line of, like, hey, go around to do objective, weird puzzle thing.
And that's out next week. That's next Thursday.
Scary. Because I still have to play, like, Nioh 3 and a bunch of other shit that's coming out. Never.
Romeo is a Dead Man is coming out in like 3 days. Resident Evil is in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Come on.
I know. It never ends. I was also really I don't know how good it will be, but I was very amused by Tokyo Scramble, which is from the Ender Lilies people, and that's the one where she has to escape Xynos in the sewers.
Yeah,
the multiplayer.
I don't know what the fuck is going on with
like
that.
The worst multiplayer I could ever imagine in my entire life. Because not only
it's like one person controls like her movement, another person controls
worse,
like
it's that where like you can control the camera, etc. But also 2 people can control one. They showed it in the video. They were like 2 people can control the movement and 2 people can control the camera. It's like kill your friends challenge.
This game is going to lead to more screaming matches than any.
Yeah, it's worse than Dokapon Kingdom.
Ever.
Like that. This is.
Yeah,
but that game looked really funny. Also, like.
Yeah, it looked
funny. Having dinosaurs with giant cranes to make them stop killing you.
Yeah.
I feel like there was something else off the top of my head. I thought it was really lame. They ended with fucking Bethesda stuff. That was crazy. I was like, wow. Great.
Yeah, even like divorced from any moral aspects
so
of it.
Boring. It's all like, the old ones too. Everything before
it's ports. It's just ports. Yeah. I mean, Indiana Jones is, I think, one of their most recent games, which is something. But
also, how will that look on the Switch too? I wonder. Since hearing that it's all going to be on cartridge when the PlayStation 5 version of that game is 130 gigabytes. The only other thing I really had a thought on was Another Eden Begins, the remake of Another Eden, which is a gacha game. This might be a weird thing to say, but honestly, if you are interested in that, I could genuinely just say go play the gacha game. And that's specifically because it looks exactly the same. And also, the gacha game is the least gacha game I have ever played. Where you get all of the party members that are going to be in this game just through playing like a normal JRPG. And the gacha is like this weird second zone that's completely divorced from the main story, where you just roll on like collab characters basically. So it'll be like, hey, this is the banner to roll for Morgana from Persona 5 or whatever. But like you literally just play the normal game and they just do it. Like you don't have to do dailies or anything like that. Like it's just the weirdest, most compartmentalized game I've ever played in the gacha space. And it's pretty old, so that makes sense. Like it's pre-Genshin, pre-everything. I think it was like from 2018 or something. But it's if you were interested in that, like you could probably just try that fucking game and see if you are going to like it instead of buying this whole ass game when it comes out. Is my suggestion as someone who played it. I thought it was fine, but it is very much like, oh, this sure has the same amount of writing as Chrono Trigger, which in 2025, 2026 is not really...
Yeah. Lily or Nikolas, is there anything that you saw that you care about?
I did watch through the...
I did see for the sizzle reel, I saw the Concept remake, and I had a moment of remembering that Concept exists. I was like, oh man, I remember that on the PS2.
I've been told that the 3DS game is really good.
Yeah, they're weird. Like I also think that the PS2 era for a lot of those kind of weird kind of games, like you had what the heck is that one game? Makai Kingdom. A lot of the kind of weird conceptual kind of like cardy and tactics kind of games are kind of neat. I have no idea how the remake will be, but having like a board game card game, that's kind of neat. It is novel.
So I will also say they are making a remake of the first Coldcept game, but there's also another game that is called Coldcept Begins that is not the remake. That is a separate game that they also announced at the same time. So the remake is called Coldcept 1, I think. Or no, Coldcept the First. And that is going to be on Steam. So Coldcept Begins is a separate game that is on consoles, Switch and Switch 2, as well as Steam. And then this remake is going to be just on Steam, at least right now. So, very confusing. Very confusing. I will also say one or two more things. That I tried the Pragmata demo on Switch 2. I wanted to see how that would run. It ran perfectly fine.
RE Engine is back.
RE Engine is back. I'm gonna get Resident Evil 9 on Switch 2. I'm doing it.
But if you watch that trailer, you'll see that you can't actually hit any of the zombies in the Switch 2 version.
Shit. Damn it. You're right.
Anytime you shoot a zombie, it just projects a giant frowning face onto the screen.
Just bricks your Switch. You have to go buy a new Switch every time you actually fight a zombie. That's why the dinosaur game is all about just dodging them. You can't actually shoot them. Yeah. But no, it runs great. So that's nice. And I mean, there's other stuff on here that is like high-end stuff where it's like, oh shit, this runs well. Like, I mean, Final Fantasy VII Remake runs perfectly fine on Switch 2. They're finally fucking porting Time Stranger to Switch. Well, they're doing Switch and Switch 2, which, it's probably going to be A-okay on Switch 2, but like the Switch version of that game is probably going to be like 12 FPS.
Yeah.
And it's like...
I was going to say, I feel like one of the big things from this Direct that stood out to me is that, we're getting close to a year of Switch 2 being out, and I feel like it really is reflective, like, oh my god, they didn't give dev kits to fucking anyone.
Yeah. It is extremely, like, we need to get stuff out now because we have the ability to do so now instead of...
But, like, think...
Yeah, it's
not
really
that
weird.
I want, the Switch 2 to be a success necessarily, but it was like this thing of like, imagine how much better that year one would have been if they had just given people dev kits.
I mean, technically speaking, they still haven't released it. The Switch 2 is just an elaborate
That's true.
Nintendo
There's no Xenoblade game, so.
Exactly.
Not a one.
Well, I guess we could talk about this bit of news real quick because there may be a Xenoblade game coming out on Switch 2. Perhaps, potentially, maybe, if this is true. So, Caitlin Thorburn, who was the voice of Cosmos, Telos, and the Blade Nim in a Xenoblade 2, updated her Spotlight page, which is a website that, according to what a bunch of other people said, is like a sort of an IMDb kind of thing, except only the actual people who the page is about can update their page. Has posted that they are going to be in a new Xenoblade Chronicles game of some kind. It just says 2026, says that it's a video game, and the role that she has mentioned is for Cosmos. So we don't fully know how, like, true all of this is. Like, this is just one of those things where, like, a bunch of people are just like, yeah, no, you can only do that, in this certain way. I don't know. It's one of those, like, really weird, like, I can't really tell how true this is, but it's really funny. And if it is true, this would be a very funny way for this to get out, that she just went to, like, update something on the back end of some website, and then she's like, fuck, wait, no, I wasn't supposed to do that. And also that Cosmos is involved somehow. So there's, like, 5 options that, oh, you know what? It wasn't supposed to do that, but I'm actually okay with that because now you can see my whole hand. There's like 5 options that it could be. And one of them is that it's nothing. that it's all fake. Which, okay. 2, it could be just a Switch 2 update for Xenoblade 2, and maybe there's like a new mission or something that Cosmos is in. 3, they could be doing a definitive edition port of Xenoblade 2, and that could also have a new mission that Cosmos is in. 4, maybe they are doing a Xenoblade Warriors game, which I don't want them to do that. I would like for them to not do that. And 5, which I am kind of taking this from a video. God, what was the person that made this? I need to credit them properly. Also, there we go. The 5th option is maybe they are doing remakes of Xenosaga, and they're redoing the voice acting, and they're having this lady be Cosmos because they want to be consistent, which makes sense. And maybe they're calling them like Xenoblade Chronicles : Xenosaga. You know? Because I think Nintendo they bought like a bunch of stock of Bandai Namco, so maybe that's how they're doing it. I think they are, and I mean they work with them so much now, so they, I could see them just being like, hey, we're gonna give you some money, we're gonna remake or remaster or re-release Xenosaga because people want that. Here you go. I don't know. We'll see. I don't have too much faith in any specific thing. I don't even know if this is real. I would love for some of those to be real. But
I mean, I
don't know.
I'm just confused. It's definitely a lower scale project as possible, but they said they're working on a new IP entirely, like after 3, and that they were taking a break from Xenoblade. So, like, I imagine it's on the smaller end of things, whatever it is. Like, it could just be a Xenosaga collection, and then maybe they finally dubbed some of the audio dramas or something, like some recent stuff has been doing. Like Tactics just did that for Final Fantasy.
Yeah, Chrono Cross did it, or they did
they translated
they
VN,
translated it. I don't know if they dubbed it. Yeah. And this was NL ENEL, the YouTuber. That's who I was talking about. They did a video that listed a lot of that stuff. Because like there's some people that some people were just jumping straight to it being Xenoblade 4, and I don't know if they're doing that again because it seems like it'll be something smaller. But yeah, I'm leaning towards it being an update or like a remaster or whatever. Like I don't want the 2 things I don't want it to be is I don't want it to be Xenoblade Warriors because I don't really care for Warriors, and I don't want it to be a complete re-release of Chronicles 2 because I don't want to spend the money on that game again, and I'm going to if they make it because I want to play the new stuff and I don't want to have to spend the money.
Why would they release a full remaster on a console that already has the original that they are also advertising? Just get the Switch 2 version for $10 extra. Why would they do this?
Mario and everything else.
The thing is that there's the Switch 2 editions of stuff where it's like you pay $20 and you get the update with the better graphics and all that, and then they add some new stuff. That's that. And then they also have the physical versions that is the original game with the Switch 2 upgrade, and those are the ones that are $80 because it's oh boy, you're buying the game and the upgrade, which is okay. But I mean, there's people that are no, they're gonna do a full remake or just a definitive edition kind of deal, and it's okay, yeah. If they just do an they could probably just do an update, they just need to make the frames a little more consistent and maybe touch up some of the graphics if they're gonna do it. Which if they don't, I don't care. It's fine. It's Xenoblade 2. We're good. It's fine. I love that game, but also go ahead.
Just make it so it doesn't take 15 seconds for textures to load in when you fast travel if you've been playing for 5 hours, and then it's done. You don't need to make You don't need to change anything. The game is about as good as it can get. They don't make video games better than that, I think. It's good. Why do you need to touch this game up? Why do you need to make remakes of every single game?
I think it's good to have stuff on current consoles and to touch things up if and when it's feasible.
but 2 is on current consoles.
Exactly. It's on current consoles, and if they polished it a little bit, sure. But they should be polishing it in a way that I don't have to spend any money on it. Just do a free patch.
I'll say that in Japan specifically, I know that the way of the reason they made Sky First Chapter as an example is Falcom bled a lot of talent after doing 5 Cold Steel games in a row, basically. Because people got really tired, so they had a bunch of influx of new talent for Daybreak, and they got they were working with them on Daybreak, and then they were like, maybe it would be a good teaching tool to have them work with existing stuff and learn how our engines work and stuff like that in a really low key type of environment. And I imagine Monolith just got a huge influx of new talent. It's entirely possible they just do that with Xenoblade Chronicles too. Of hey, maybe not as elaborate as Sky Remake, just, hey, this is a teaching tool to show you how our engine works and how our tech works. Because they are the tech masters over at Nintendo.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say
no, not
Falcom. For Monolith, absolutely.
Falcom's kind of the tech wizards to some degree.
I'm talking shit. It's fine. Okay. Let's talk about some other games real quick. Lily, do you want to hit us with some stuff?
I can go right ahead, and I know it's a betrayal of Lorelei to talk about Nioh 2 while they're not here.
She's editing this right now, and she's just slamming. They're like, "Fuck!"
So the thing is I don't want to say anything that controversial or anything that needs rebutting, but I will give my honest impressions. So. I played Nioh 2 when it originally came out, and after kind of because again, those games are kind of tonally and contemporaneously comparable to Souls-likes. And I played them like Souls-likes in the year they came out, and I had a bad time. So I revisited them literally first thing into this year. And I have had what I can only describe as 2 minds about it. So let's start with the positives. After kind of getting it, and I've said to multiple people at this point, I don't really feel the Souls-like DNA especially much in Nioh 2. I truthfully think that a lot of the design methodologies are kind of more comparable to something like a spectacle fighter. That's not just because, you have the stances. I don't think that having a stance system and having a devil trigger instantly makes your game Devil May Cry. But I do think that in a lot of ways, something like Dark Souls, when you get the late game weaponry, when you get the late game boss weapons and stuff, it does that whole thing where you kind of the flash is part of it. Because Nioh is all about rather weapon types rather than specific weapons, it's kind of doing a thing where they kind of want to boil the cool flashy stuff into things like the upgrade tree and your specific type of skill expression with the attacks, where I do kind of feel like it's just a particularly difficult spectacle fighter. But I guess even particularly difficult weans away a lot as you played it. And staying in the positive side of things, I was having like a pretty good time. Like I think like as much as it is like a joke, like the active time reload with your stamina gauge is like a really fun like micro game. It's interesting to have to think about combat through a series of engagements while managing that kind of thing, while the game also wants you to play it like, style switching Devil May Cry to keep your combo going. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really interesting and textured. On top of that, you have like the Souls-likes buffs, and I think that is also additive and interesting. Here is my problem. Okay. And maybe this won't be a problem for other people. This is very much like this is my experience with these kinds of games. So something like Nioh 2, like let's, like not beat around the bush. It has like this big loot system. It has like the, you have 3% increased fire damage while rolling type
of course
weapon drops. And obviously, and it was funny because I was talking to Rose off the podcast about how it was stressing me out, and every few like minutes I would have to receive the message that was like, don't worry about the numbers. The numbers can't hurt you. Just play the game. And that made it fun because in a way, overthinking it turns it into this nightmare when in reality you can just find the weapon that you are using and pick the one with the biggest numbers. That's really all you need to care about. But because of this kind of maximalist game design, because it keeps bombarding you with items and stuff and NPCs and all of this like interlocking systems, to me, it kind of reached a point where my brain just overflowed and I stopped caring. So when we were talking about Trails earlier, we talked about how each one of the NPCs has their own quest line. They have these interiority. They have these stories that you can love and engage with. Playing Nioh, I got through maybe the first 4 or 5 cutscenes before I was just like, I don't care about any of these people. This is just more filler before engaging with the actually fun part of the game, which is beating up yokai with a katana that turns into a glaive, which turns into a guillotine. And that's really cool and really interesting. But I wrote a whole essay. It was my version of like a Game of the Year essay, which was basically, here is what I learned emotionally about playing video games in 2025. That game, to my kind of level of growth as a person, is like spiritually dangerous to me. Because it is this series of capital C content where I can click on the mission and I can grind out the weapons and I can find a good weapon and I can grind out the legendary weapon and I can get everything really high. And I reached a point where I could just kill enemies with my eyes unfocused. And when I play games in that way, like, listen, I'm not 17 anymore. I can't just eat Doritos for dinner and call it a day, And with something like my media diet in this way, playing a video game that encourages you to push 3 buttons while blacked out at the controller and sprinting down hallways, I can't be playing Destiny 2 anymore, guys. I've grown. And all of that sounds terrible, and it sounds like I'm horribly condemning this game. No, Nioh 2 is a really good game, but the way that it plays almost encourages me to instantly optimize all fun out of it. Because the way that combo system works, like when you're playing something like Dark Souls, because things can kill you so quickly and you have to manage stamina, you have to be really thoughtful about strategy and how you engage. In Nioh, fighting with the scythe, I can just go square, 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 triangle, square, 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 triangle, square, 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 triangle, and the enemy can't react because they have exploded into blood particles before I've even had to think. And that can be fun. It can be fun to just rip through stuff. There's a reason why people liked Doom 2016, you know? That's not the most thoughtful game ever made, but it's fine for them. And so I'm taking a break on it. And part of the reason I feel this way is kind of because it has made me come to realize how some games are good, but they're definitely not good for you.
It's an interesting way to take it.
The thing I would say about Nioh's complexity is, like, it's very much like they designed those games to, and I've said this to you obviously, so you know, but they've designed those games to be replayed, and then they add complexities in terms of move sets and things that bosses are doing, or boss combos and stuff like that. And that's where the game really becomes interesting, because it's like there are 5 New Game Plus difficulty levels, so it's like, yeah, there's normal, and then there's the second one, which is just okay, but you can kind of skip the second one and do Path of the Demon, which is where, like, you know, gear starts having more interesting things. When you beat the game, there's green rarity gear that appears, basically, and that starts to have way more stuff on it. And as you progress further, there's even an extra thing that goes on top of it. And that sounds scary, but it's not that bad. You get a lot more interesting things, like, hey, this happens when you do X or Y, or like, this is how much key damage you do now when you do a key pulse. Stuff like that, that's interesting. And there's stuff like the Abyss also, which is like the pseudo roguelike mode, which is really interesting, because then you get to just fight a lot of different bosses doing a lot of weird different things. But my problem with all that, obviously, as someone who really likes Nioh 2, is it's backloaded. You have to get through it all. And that's something I'm scared about with Nioh 3 right now, because I've seen a couple reviewers call it easy. Is I'm like, I don't think Nioh has ever been super, super hard. Sometimes they're front-loaded with a little bit of difficulty, but you overcome that pretty quickly. And knowing, like, okay, well, it'll be really good when I play through it the second time is a little scary.
Yeah. I mean, that's, like, kind of like a thing. Like, you and I are both Final Fantasy 14 players, and a lot of people will be like, yeah, well, the game isn't really good until you get to Shadowbringers, and then it's the best thing ever made. That's not strictly true, you know? There is value to be derived from any of the, like, material in 14 if you're willing to intellectually engage with it. There are stories, they're just at different levels, you know? This, like, again, especially from what you're telling me, feels like connected to that spiritually in my head, because it is like this thing where it's like, do I want to play 40 hours of, again, capital C Dorito game content to get to something that's interesting when I could play something that I think meaningfully enriches me in the now, you know? Like, do I want to play 3,000 hours of Counter-Strike to consider myself good at Counter-Strike, you know?
Yeah, the answer will be different for everyone, you know?
I can.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. That's what I mean when I say Nioh 2 isn't a bad game. And again, I have not banished it from my computer. I will probably return to it, and maybe I will feel differently once I am not doing that thing where I play a game for, 4 hours, and then I go back to playing the game for another 4 hours. And again, that could entirely be a me problem, you know? I am not willing to condemn a game for my brain being smooth like chicken breast, but I think that's kind of like the point I had with it, because I played it for like 4.5 days in a row. And again, like eating an entire bag of Doritos for all of your meals, I start to feel my blood get a little thick about halfway through the final play session. So that is how I felt about it.
All right. Nikolas, how about you? Tell me about something you've been up to.
Me.
What was that?
How about me? I'll go with the more interesting one. So this isn't a specific game. This is a little story / setup for something I'll be doing. And one of my friend groups, they've been doing this thing where they try to play through every single Final Fantasy game in order. Well, every single like mainline one. Like they're not doing tactics, but they're like doing 1, 2, 3, 4. The After Years is, I think, a follow-up to 4. I don't remember which one it is. 5, 6, 7. And then they finish 7. The remaining ones they have, I think, are 8, 9, 10, 10, 2, 12. And then I think they're going to watch some of the movies at some point, but that's the entire list of what I think they're doing. I have not been able to participate with them up until now because of like college stuff, work and all that sort of stuff. Getting my schedule to align with theirs hasn't been possible until now, but I think sometime this month or early next month, they're going to start Final Fantasy VIII. I'm excited to finally play through that game, not just with them, but also to play through it in general, because I've heard that one is really fucking weird, and I'm really excited for that reason.
It is kind of weird.
Okay.
That's about the extent of that.
It's a cool game. I like it because it's weird. I won't spoil anything about it, but it has some very interesting detours in the way it presents its story. And as long as you don't treat it the way some people do of min-maxing, you'll be like, oh, cool.
That's bad. I do that a lot. Well, I can't help myself. I played this guy.
Just try not to draw 99 of everything. Okay.
I'm not that far gone. I'll try to draw 99 of most things.
Oh, okay.
I'll leave it at most.
Some.
I'm really excited for the story in particular because I've heard that's odd in a lot of ways. And there's like, it's in that era of Final Fantasy where people online 10 years ago complain about stuff that makes me like hold my head in frustration whenever I go back and watch old YouTube videos. I go back and see like a clip of Tidus laughing or see people talk about FF9's final boss sucking. And it's like, I'm going like one day closer to my death with how angry I'm getting at this guy who probably doesn't even remember making this video is. And I see people complain about 8's story. Well, I remember seeing people complain about 8's story or how weird it was. So that's part of why I'm excited.
I thought it was really funny. Recently, I was listening to the Nextlander podcast, and they were talking about their review years and years ago of Dragon Quest VII in like 2000 or whatever, when it came out on the PlayStation 1. And just how like all of that review is fixated on the idea that it's sprites in a 3D world in 2000. The audacity. And just how much that's like most games critique from that era is just that. It's just like, is it not Ultra HD Final Fantasy X? It's bad.
Anything that you did play that you want to talk about?
Anything that I did play? I think I'll wait to talk about Engage until a future pod where I've played more of it, so I don't go through the exact same thing that I went through with 3H, where the first time I bring it up, I'm like, I'm interested in seeing where this is going. And then the next time I'm like complaining for 10 minutes, though I am liking it so far.
You know, I don't think it's unfair to say you're interested to see where it's going.
Yeah, I just think it's funny to like bring it up with completely different opinions, 2 pods that I show up in a row for a game. It would be really funny if I did that twice in a row for the same series. So instead, I want to briefly say I've been playing Koudelka because one of my friends recommended it to me as like, this is a game that 90% of people who play video games will probably hate. You will probably really like it. He has never been wrong about any of my opinions on a game. I have been really, really liking it. It is very weird is the best way to put it. I like the aesthetic of this. Imagine a survival horror game, but when the monsters would show up, you just play an RPG battle.
Yeah, this is a game that I'm definitely interested in. I mean, I know that this is, I think it's the same people that did Shadow Hearts. It's
the first game in that series.
Okay.
Effectively.
You want to talk about a remaster that I want? Shadow Heart.
Or at the very least, a nice port.
I want a port. I don't want them to, like, the game has a lot of stuff that doesn't, like, feel like it works. sucks, but I like how it all coalesces together a lot more than them changing stuff. It's one of those games where it's like, I don't want them to fix the weird shit. I like that some of the stats are like 3 different things at once. I like how ridiculously broken equipment is in that game. The point where it kind of destroys the balance, because it's like, oh, I've had a pipe on the floor. I don't have to think for the next 30 battles as long as I'm fine with that pipe breaking. I like that you have to get armor as random drops from enemies, and because that's a really hard luck-based thing to do, they can make the armor as good as they want. So it's like, oh, I found a bunch of rags. If I put these on one guy, he gets 3,000 more health and stronger defense. It's like, it's kind of overkill, but I did spend like 2 hours getting this, so that's fine. It's like really, it's an interesting game to just see, like, these are a lot of weird and fun ideas that got put into a game, and they're probably not going to make another game like this. My only real complaint with it is that it really, really wishes it was Silent Hill 2 on the PS2 in terms of visuals and specifically technical ability. I feel like if the game had that level of fidelity and wasn't loading for 10 seconds after every single attack, which is only minimally an exaggeration, it would be so, so much better. I don't mind, because the atmosphere is strong enough that it's like, okay, I'm not going to complain that this game, patterning itself after survival horror and RPGs, is slow. Like, if I want to play a fast game, I'll just go play something else in a different genre, probably. But, like, man, this game really wishes that it wasn't fighting for its life to load anything. I feel bad for it. It is genuinely, like, ahead of its time technically. It's like, wow, these are fully 3D battle environments with the models and world, even if the world is just a flat floor, that's still 3D. It's just fighting so hard to stay alive, but I like it a lot. It's a very unique experience. And if it would be eligible for that remake thing you were talking about earlier from the Direct, I would want to see them just port it and fix the loading times. I would be happy with that.
Well,
I don't think it is, though.
It was published by SNK in Japan, and they have a good relationship with SNK. So, I think it's got as good a chance as anything else. So we'll see. I would be very happy about that. Rose, how about you? What do you want to speak on?
I played... these ones are pretty fast, and then I can talk about the big one. Dragon Quest 1 HD, I played all of. It's fine. I don't know why they made Dragon Quest 1 twice as long. I think that kind of ruins it to some degree. I think it thrives in its simplicity. And it's not like they made it too bad, and I appreciate the level of prose improvement that the remake has, and I like all the cute sprites and everything. I think the world looks really ugly, especially after playing all the Octopath games, where Octopath 2 especially looks really nice visually. I think that I played a little bit of Dragon Quest 2 before I went, oh god, I can't get into all this, because I heard that one's like 70 hours long now. But I liked some of the changes in that too. I just, Dragon Quest, it works best then when that's the first game and you can think of the time and place it was in and stuff like that, and admire like elements of its forward thinking and its design and stuff like that. But it is ultimately very, very basic. I think my continuing issue with all Dragon Quest games will always be they are so weird about women, because most Toriyama things are. And it's not all encompassing, but it is like you reach a point where every joke is a sex joke about a woman, and you're like, okay. I played Abiotic Factor, which is the Half-Life themed survival game where you're trapped inside of like a Half-Life facility with portals and stuff to the alien world, and you just have to go around and do Oblivion style skill leveling, like jumping to improve your jumping and stuff like that, and constructing scientific devices and, using excrement to fertilize soil, to grow crops, stuff like that. Crazy stuff. It's really fun. I think it's cute. I was initially put off by it a little bit, but then like the more I played of it, I was like, oh, this is a lot of really in-depth, interesting ideas, and it's really cool. I really like how you find items that you can scavenge, but you can also just create a lot of it as you get further into the game and your scientific knowledge grows. I like that you can share blueprints with your friends when you've come up with an idea for a recipe and they haven't yet. It's cool. Mm-hmm. I especially like when a survival game does a thing where it's not just that you're constantly getting a new material that will improve your thing, but that the more you are playing the game, the more you are able to do. So like the crafting benches, the more you craft, the higher your crafting level gets. And then you're able to add things onto that crafting bench instead of just making a new, better crafting bench. Like, oh, this one now warms you so you can use it in cold areas. Or like, hey, this one, has a water dispenser so you can drink water while you're crafting. Or something like that.
I need to play that game under actual ideal circumstances rather than playing it very sadly by myself. You want to know what's really embarrassing about that game? Is that I'm so much of a baby that it managed to spook me playing it by myself. And that's not
it's very goofy, but I could still see how it happens. Because like you have this thing where the power goes out at night, so everything's dark, and there's creatures jumping everywhere around every corner making noises and stuff like that. I was really liking when you go through the first portal world is extremely Half-Life 1, like being on the other side in Half-Life 1. But when you go to the second portal world and it was just Silent Hill with like abandoned grocery stores and stuff, I was like, what? It's really interesting.
I would have died.
I'm really interested to see where that game goes further, because I know I'm only just at the beginning, sort of.
Mm-hmm. I also just had the funny problem with that game where everyone who ever wanted to play it with me are like those like the Terraria freaks who memorized exactly how to get to the end game as quickly as possible, and I'm sitting there with a rag and a wrench in my hand trying to figure out how the game works, and they're like, hey Lily, haven't you joined us in double meat hell? And I'm like, I didn't know there was a single meat hell. What are you talking about? I'm in the cafeteria.
Baby girl, we have to get you away from the maximalist gamers.
I'm saying every day.
Yeah.
Same thing with Monster Hunter. Like I said, that game series was ruined for me because of the maximalist gamers. We need to take them down.
Just like you can do in Monster Hunter.
I'm laying down a shock trap. Yeah. It'll be fine. You'll get like the cartoon eyes or whatever. You'll be like frizzed up.
Yeah, you'll be a cartoon skeleton.
Yeah, I've been enjoying that. And then the last game I've been playing a ton of is Blue Fire. I don't know if you've ever heard of this one.
I have not heard of this at all.
So this is a 3D Zelda-like Metroidvania, but it's much more like a Zelda game.
Okay.
Where you play as a little tiny like skeleton guy. And you go around, I would say distinctly Dark Souls world, but it is not a Dark Souls game. There's not stamina or anything like that or gear. And you just do fucking Zelda dungeons and side quests from Zelda. And do a bunch of like little platforming stuff with like dashes and stuff. That's the Metroidvania aspect more than anything, honestly. It's a lot of like, hey, now you're back in this area. You have a double jump now, so you can, stuff like that. It's very fun. I'm enjoying it a lot because it is so 3D Zelda that it has things like in Wind Waker, they have the wobbly statues that you control to do puzzles in that one dungeon where they they wobble when you control them. Mm-hmm. They literally wobble the exact same way in this game when you go into a dungeon that has puzzles with that. And when you get to a little further in the game, they literally have the Twilight Princess go around and collect the light drops for me. Run around thing. And I was just like, oh, this is a person who knows Zelda, baby. A thing I really liked early on was that the first power-up you get is a wall run. And it lets you like do wall jumps and stuff like that, which I always think is a lot more fun than just giving you the double jump right away. Because it's like, I think having upgrades like that, it's in a game like a Metroidvania, makes, and especially a 3D one, makes you think and appreciate the tech you have on a base level. And it means that when you get that double jump, you're already doing crazy ass shit that the double jump then just adds on to. So it's like, if you get the double jump right away, you're kind of leaning on the idea of the double jump as the base level. But if you have to do things that a double jump would require, but through just wall jumping and wall running and dashing, then you're thinking about lateral space in a much more interesting and different way, because you have to think of the constraints you were under. And I think that's something I really like in games. That's something like I liked about, it's different in the same sense, but in Nier, right? Both Nier games do this thing where quality of life features are kept back from the player for a while. Like in Nier Automata, you can't automatically pick up items for a while, or the autosave and stuff like that. So it's like, it requires you to think more deeply about the way that you're engaging with things on a mechanical level, even if it's a little annoying. And then when you have that new thing, you appreciate it even more.
Yeah, it's tactility through friction.
And I love it. And
I mean, it's why like Pseudo Regalia is such a fun game to play, because you can play it like asymmetrically if you are good enough at platforming.
And this is very much the same way. If it's like, there's even ways the game supports this further by like being like very early on, if you have the money, you can buy an equipable that just makes your dash longer. And you can always air dash and stuff just from the get-go. So it's like this thing of like, oh, now if I buy that thing, I could theoretically cheese something that's supposed to be a double jump, because I can just dash really far at the apex of my jump or something like that, you know? And I really like stuff like that.
Sure.
I think it makes the world feel really interesting and makes like the process of playing it not feel super mechanical, which a lot of Metroidvanias can do, of like there's a lot of linear Metroidvanias, something like a Blasphemous, which I do enjoy, but still are clearly designed to be like, no, this area you just can't go to until you have X power, and it's just unreachable. Whereas one of my favorite things to do in games is sort of eke my way into those areas I'm not supposed to be in and see what it's like. Like, that's something that's appealing about Xenoblade a lot of the time, right? Is you find like a fucked up area and you go, whoa.
I think. Oh, go on. I was just saying, like, it adds texture to the world to be in a place that isn't meant for you.
It's like, whoa, where is this going? Almost to me, if it's like, whoa, this is crazy. I really like that. The only thing that I could see putting people off from this game is, two things. One, it is very, very low budget. This is like a $5 indie game most of the time. I think it's constantly on sale for like $5. And you can tell that it's someone's first game. But I think it's like, not for like bugs or anything like that. It's just, you can tell like, hey, maybe the play feel isn't as solid as a Zelda, right? Something like that. But I still think like it feels pretty good and you get used to it. And the second thing would be, it does do something that Lone Fungus did, and also kind of Hollow Knight to an extent, where it has optional platforming challenges. And they're never super duper hard for the most part. There's a couple that are almost Meat Boy-esque at times, but very low end. But I still know like that put a lot of people off of Hollow Knight, knowing that like at the end they have to do a little bit of a platforming gauntlet and stuff like that. I do think it's easier in 3-dimensional space, just by virtue of, there are countless times where it's like, oh no, there's a buzzsaw on the wall. Okay, but I can just jump sideways around it instead of like, Super Meat Boy where you literally can't do that. But it is still like, I know that even if something's optional, some people will be like, but it's not, So just know that going in, that is an option. But I didn't find them particularly that challenging. I just thought that like there's a couple that are like, oh, this is a little hard, but it takes a few tries and then you do it. I think it's neat. I'm probably about halfway through the game now. I think it's only like 9 hours long. It's been really fun on the Steam Deck to just go around and collect things, do stuff, figure out the weird puzzles. There's a lot of areas where it like they encourage you to do the weird platforming too. So it's not just like, me intentionally going to somewhere else. So that would be like, hey, like in those Twilight Princess spots, we're going to put one of the dewdrops you have to collect or whatever in a weird place of this map that you've been in a bunch of times that you haven't gone to yet, like a weird corner. And then you go up to that corner and you're like, oh my God, wait, I could jump dash off from here to go to this other side of the map where there's just like a hidden little chest or something. And I like that sort of encouraging game design of like, hey, I'm not quite going to tell you to do something outright, but I am going to put you in a position where you can think about it. It's cool. And again, always cheap. So it's like constantly on sale for like $5. Seems to me I'm interested in getting into it. I know it has DLC too, and it has like a level maker, which is really interesting. And I'm curious what that even is.
Ooh.
Because that could be cool if someone's making like Zelda dungeons on their own, But yeah,
Sure,
as someone who has been dying for 3D Zelda that's good and not suck, it's been nice.
Very nice. I'll just talk about one last thing, and then Lily, if you have like maybe one last thing, and then we can do the last bits of news, and then we'll wrap it up. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Okay. I am going to move on to Expedition 33 finally, but I also bought, like I said, I bought the Final Fantasy VII Remake port to Switch 2, and I also got Bravely Default HD as well, because I wanted it, and I tried that a little bit. That game is
John,
okay. Bravely Default.
So you never played either of them?
I played a wee bit of Bravely Default originally, just a wee bit. I got like a little more than halfway through Final Fantasy VII Remake before on the PS4, and then I remember just being like, oh, they released like the Integrate stuff. I'll get that eventually, I guess. And then I just didn't, and then now I'm just going to play it on Switch 2.
It's Bravely Second is me and a couple other people I know's favorite of the Bravely games. On the DS, on the 3DS, right? Okay. I recommend playing that at some point for you, just because I think you will be in love with Magnolia Arch, the main girl of that game, because she is basically Elizabeth.
Okay. Okay. I own Bravely Default 2 because someone was... I just have it because someone was selling like a bunch of Switch games on that Facebook group that I was in, and I wanted like 2 of them, and it was really cheap, and they had Bravely Default 2 in that like bundle, so I didn't really like fully choose to buy it, but I have it. But I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like I've had a lot of people kind of talk to me and seen conversations about Bravely Default 1, and there's been so many opinions about it. And so far I'm just like, this is fine. The combat really isn't as like deep as it wants to be, I don't think. Like there's some times where it's like, oh yeah, you can do some kind of tricks here and there, but there was like a part in one of the boss fights that I did, I fought against like the knight, and his whole thing is like he's got like boosted physical defense the entire time, but then he used a move that made his defense drop. So it was basically just like, okay, so I'm just gonna use up all my turns and just brave like 4 times, and then I win, and I did, so I didn't like think too hard about it. Like it was kind of cool that I could do that, but it was also like I'm not like thinking too hard about it. It was just like, I can attack and kick his ass right now and win. Okay.
That was something I was worried about with the original game, because it's like with the HD compared to the original game. I mean, because in the original game, I don't think that it's particularly hard for the most part until you get to the end, obviously, like every JRPG. Bravely Second is a lot more complex, but Bravely Default had this thing where you build the town up, and I don't think they have that in the HD remake, right? You don't do the street pass. Oh, okay.
You do have the town. Yes, you do. It's not Street Pass. They do something really bizarre where there's just people like standing around in the it's only been in the first town so far. I don't know if they're going to start showing up in the other towns, but there will just be like friends standing around in the other towns, and then you walk by them, and then they add more people to your town. And you can also summon them in battle by like, it's basically just like you just channel like one of their moves. Like you can upload an attack, and then you could download it for your own. So I don't think a lot of people play this game because pretty much every thing that I downloaded was just someone's like level 1 Tiz doing a regular attack. But then it did download some person who very obviously just finished the game, and it was like, oh, here's Ring a Bell doing a level 14, like their job is level 14, their character's like level 60, and if I use this move I'm just gonna win. And it's just like, that doesn't feel right. Like I could do that. I'm not gonna do it though.
Do they have the invading monsters for the town?
Feels wrong.
Yeah. No, you should have had them by now.
I don't know.
Because they're there from the beginning. Yeah, because I was going to say that's the only thing I remember really being interesting about the challenging team building stuff was you could kind of get like street passed monsters from people that would invade your town, and then it would like, they would usually be really weirdly stronger than you, like 20 levels or something, and then you could create weird builds to try and like beat them and get materials early, which was cool.
Okay, I'm looking on the Bravely Default wiki and seeing what is different in the HD remaster. Let's see. It says based on Bravely Default 4, the sequel, with its story and gameplay additions, but with content related to second removed. The special AR movie teasing Bravely Second after the credits has been removed. The Bravely Second feature, which used SP from hourglasses to temporarily stop time, has been removed. You can fast forward. The Heal All button from Bravely Default 2. Retooled online features. Norend villagers are recruited via passing souls. They spawn in cities every few hours when connected to the internet. Some ability names have been changed. Camera support has been removed and replaced with profile pictures. Miis have been replaced with in-game avatars. Nemesis bosses that reappear have been relocated to accommodate the lack of online features. Using Nemesis pillows from certain boss rematch fights at specific city inns will activate the Nemesises from Final Fantasy IV Heroes of Light and the returning Ball Nemesises. Both groups of Nemesises also spawn within the Dimensions Hasp.
Yeah, I had heard that they moved them to a weird location or something. So I don't know if you'll be able to do it still at some point, or if it's just all in a weird optional area. But it was cool to like, you know,
that's what it sounds like.
I got the street pass. I'm in high school. Whoa, or whatever. Whoa, street pass, and I just got a fucked up guy. Whoa.
Yeah, you know, I miss that, but also they're not going to do that. God. But I don't know. I'm going to keep playing it. The other thing that I said, it was kind of funny though, because I posted like, man, I feel like I heard so many people talking about how like god awful Ring a Bell is, and it's not like he's great, but I do think he was kind of that bad. Overblown. Like he's not even like as bad. He's not even as bad as like Teddy.
But he could be as good as Olivier.
Teddy. That's true. He could. Maybe no.
By like 10 years.
I think. I was gonna say Ring a Bell walked and Olivier ran, but no, I think Olivier ran and then Ring a Bell just kind of trotted behind. He's just like he's basically just Johnny Bravo, but like fancy. He's fancy Johnny Bravo. So I can't get too mad about that, you know, because like I don't know. Yeah. There was a line that I straight up laughed at where like when you go to the desert area and like there, you know, he's got his like journal that has all the information, and he's like, because he's an amnesiac, but he's got a journal that's like, I guess like his previous travels written down in there, and he's just like, well, the journal seems to say that I had quite a lot of wanderlust, but I do know that I have some regular lust too, and it's like, all right, brother. It's like I laughed at that one. Okay, all right. I don't know. It's fine because the thing is too is like I haven't been wowed by like any of the other characters too. Honestly, like everyone has just been like whatever. Like Tiz's whole thing is just that he is devoted, and that is it. And Agnes is just she wants to save the world, but she's also like, oh, I don't want anyone to help me. I feel so bad when people help me. Oh, don't do that. No. And like Adea has some stuff going on with her because her whole thing is that she used to work with the like villains and now she's defected over to your side. And I kind of wish that she maybe had more time with the villain side. Like they should have had her working with them for longer, but they paired her up with dumb misogynist wizard and she got sick of him like immediately, which, you know, obviously I don't blame her, but it's just like, you know, I think it would have been a little more believable if we saw her like starting to actually question her beliefs before just immediately abandoning her fucking family and, you know, like her father. Which, you know, it's whatever. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But I'm gonna focus on Expedition 33 now. I think I want to finish that game. No. Yeah. Lily, let's wrap it up with you. What games have you gotten? What are the last few games you've got?
So I'll probably leave the other one off, but I will talk about Pathologic 2.
Okay.
So tell me if you've heard this story before. I played Pathologic 2 at a time that I shouldn't have, which was during the pandemic. Maybe don't play Pathologic 2 in the middle of a global pandemic. That's a bad idea. But I've been really, really enjoying the pros of that game. And as much as I know, like, the popular opinion that has kind of apprised around that game related to, like, you know, various video essays and whatnot, I kind of just think that, like, the writing doesn't really feel that esoteric to me. Like, obviously everyone speaks incredibly, like, theatrically in that game, but I'm kind of just enjoying that characters will just lie to you all the time.
Okay.
And again, you are in the town of liars, so maybe you should think, perhaps, maybe this guy benefits from telling me that I should go on a killing spree and kill children, and I shouldn't do that. And I don't know. If we are going to, you know, randomly like pivot to the opposite of like Nioh's divine like design maximalism, having a game that just kind of forces you to sit with your thoughts and think about stuff, I don't know. I vibe with that. I vibe with a game that plays in a specific way that it doesn't need to jingle keys in front of your face every like 5 minutes in case you get bored. So having like a town, and also the music is so fun in that game. Even if you don't like the idea of Pathologic 2, I would recommend listening to that soundtrack even in isolation, because some of those songs are so interesting and they're just really, really good. But I've been really enjoying myself, and I am as they say, I am pensive maxing. And I'm being the thinking gamer. So I'll report back, because the entire reason I'm playing that game is entirely because a friend bought me the third one and I wanted to play the second one, so I'm playing the second one, but I'm not playing the first one.
Well, isn't the second one like kind of almost basically a remake of the first one, but not really?
So it's odd, because here's the thing, like, in the original Pathologic, like the HD release and everything, it was, essentially speaking, 3 games. You played as 3 different characters in the same town for the same events, but each one handles life incredibly differently from one another. So, when we compare that to Pathologic 2, It's so hard to like articulate it without someone who doesn't also know already, but Pathologic 1 both has and hasn't happened as of Pathologic 2. It is the same events in the sense that Pathologic is quote-unquote a performance. So, rhetorically speaking, you can play 2 and understand it and only be slightly confused, but Pathologic 2 also harkens back to 1 in interesting ways that belie the fact that the game is entirely about performance and theatricality and things of that nature. We're doing the play again, the game says. And basically, if we want to talk, like, the key difference is that Pathologic 2, you don't have a choice. You're playing as one of the protagonists, whereas Pathologic 3, you were playing as another one.
Mm-hmm.
So you're playing as Danny Dank, Daniil Dankovsky in the third one, and you were playing as the Harrispecs in the second one.
Mm-hmm. Old Danny Dank.
Old Danny Dank. But in the second one, I just kind of like that game will make you go out of its way to make you feel stupid if you are not paying attention. It takes pride in making you feel stupid for not paying attention.
Sure.
Like, the game will literally say, hey dude, everyone in the town kind of wants to kill your ass right now. Maybe don't check in at the police station right now.
But I want to.
But you can, and you go in there, and do you know what happens?
They kill you?
They instantly arrest you.
Well,
and then
they
you're
didn't kill you.
To sit. You are in-game forced to sit in a cage for hours. But that's funny to me. Like, again, you weren't paying attention, and you were just walking to the quest marker. Get fucked, dumbass. But yeah, that's neat. I like that kind of design where, I mean, again, Of the Devil, Trails, they are games begging you to pay attention.
Pay attention. Hey. Gaming. Pay attention. Pay attention to
Get
gaming.
on the first monitor, brother.
Gaming.
Alright, let's get through these last bits of news here. Oh my god, that scared the shit out of me. I just opened up the Steam page for the game that I'm about to speak on. So y'all remember Poker Night at the Inventory?
I remember Poker Night at the Inventory. Why have you mentioned Poker Night at the Inventory?
They're doing a remaster, and it's coming out March 5th.
I think I can put my feelings on it best as I really liked that post where they said every time Tycho talks, they should put up that Warner Brothers, this is a product of its time. We do not endorse or support the ethics of this individual or whatever.
Yeah.
He sure is. You know that thing where, like, an entire species goes extinct except for one apex predator? He's that, except for early 2000s webcomic.
Also, I think
men.
the Control Alt Delete man's the only one left alive now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lost has left that guy
killed
alive
Max.
for so long. He's the endling.
God. But yes, from what so this is being done by Skunk Ape, who are some folks who used to be at Telltale. I think it's like the people that didn't go off to do the I don't remember what the studio is called that did Dispatch. But you know, there's like some of them kind of came back together to do supposedly The Wolf Among Us 2, which who knows, that's probably never going to come out. But then there's like another group of them went into Dispatch, and now another group of them are Skunk Ape now. So this seems to be that they are, you know, coming back to, I'm guessing they're doing this to see if people want a new one, I'm guessing. And they're also doing it because from what I've heard, I think there was like something broken about the TF2 item drops. Like, I think the game maybe wasn't like easily purchasable anymore, or something of the sort. So it was like, yeah, if you wanted to get those items, that it was just basically impossible unless you wanted to like pay a shit ton of real money to some asshole. So you can get them now, and you can play a pretty fun little poker game that has 3 funny characters in it, and Tycho from Penny Arcade. I think someone did say that every poker night game needs to have one shitty character, and I guess that's true, because yeah, this one has Tycho, and then the second one is fucking Claptrap. So I would love for, if they do make a third one, for them to not have a shitty character, but we'll see. Speaking of updates to games, though, Overwatch, everybody.
Yeah.
It's not Overwatch 2 anymore, it's just Overwatch. They had Overwatch, and then they made Overwatch 2, which they said was going to be a different game, and then it just kind of ended up being Overwatch again. And then they stopped supporting original Overwatch, because I guess they just realized that this was just going to be Overwatch, and now it's not Overwatch 2 anymore, it's just Overwatch.
I can't wait for the next Blizzard controversy to happen, and then they announce Blizzard, or they announce Overwatch 2 again, like they never announced it.
They announced a bunch of new characters that I don't care about, and I'm not gonna talk about too much, because they don't deserve it, and you know, also they're a Microsoft-owned company. They did add Jetpack Cat, which
rich lore character, Jetpack.
All right. Rich lore character, apparently. People are happy to see Jetpack Cat acknowledged, finally, I guess. I don't fucking know.
Please give us Jeff the Shark points, please.
Yeah, it's... whatever. It's just very funny that they're, like, so desperate that they're like, no, it's Overwatch. You remember Overwatch? Yeah, I do. It was kind of fun when it came out, and then you fucking kowtowed to the esports part of it and completely ruined the game, and it's still just whatever. Two more bits here. These are also insane, hilarious, stupid stories here. Sony has patented a new concept where they will send you personalized AI-generated podcasts voiced by characters from their games to give you updates about your gameplay and your friends' gameplay. Like, there's pictures here of someone going, Jack Brown just won trophy 532 in Space Explorers. You should try your hand at that game. Ha! If you think you have the skills. And they said, like, oh, we could have those characters talking to you like that.
I don't need to hear Parappa the Rapper telling me that someone got a platinum trophy in a game I don't own.
This is one of those topics where I hate that generative AI and all that is so resource intensive, and that people are using it to replace actual art. Because I would like this, not because I actively want this information, but because I would laugh my ass off every time I got my personalized podcast where Parappa told me that everyone is playing Monster Hunter and that I should play it, and because it would just be very funny to me. It's not good, but it's very funny. Like, about a bunch of people were posting like clips from those like auto translated things that YouTube does now, where they do like an auto dub, and they all sound horrible, and everyone was like, yeah, this sounds like YouTube poop, and I'm like, yeah, it does, and it's very funny, and I don't want it to be harmful to people, but it's so fucking funny. It sucks so much. They have put so much money into this, and it sucks so much.
The clothespin's getting closer to the bubble every day.
Look, again, the Super Bowl is happening as we speak, and a lot of people have pointed out that when there were so many Super Bowl ads for crypto, that was like right when it started to crash down. And apparently, all like most of the Super Bowl ads this year were for AI stuff. So
I can't wait for 100 that guy cousins trying to explain to like their older like grandparents what AI generation is in that specific sense and how it will definitely make money.
I think they should just hire the voice actors to make a voice bank like Miku, and then you have Nathan Drake Miku. Nathan Drake Miku is just saying things arbitrarily.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure that there are some, there's text-to-speech things that you can do, and I mean, all this information is getting, collected anyway, like, that's how they give you your, like, wrap-ups at the end of the year. So, and they're also, like, showing you that they've been showing you that information for ages, so, like, this technology overall is not anything too horrible, because like text-to-speech stuff is whatever, like you could just get voice banks and all that, and they're already collecting this information anyway. Really, it's just the fact that they're trying to push this to people, and they're like, oh, this is this great new technology, when it's gonna be shitty voice.
It's gonna be the worst
thing telling you dumb shit.
Fucking rapper just put over it, and then just like with the freaking Fortnite guys, they're just going to be able to be like, Parappa, wait, I need you to say a slur to me right now. And Parappa will be like, oh, okay. Here I go.
You need me to say a slur? Like, all right, yeah.
God. I need me to say. He just won't do it. He keeps repeating
that's a real
back
problem.
to you.
It just doesn't.
No, you need to say... you need to say the slur, Parappa. I need to say the slur. Like,
you have to say it first, and then he'll say it. But they do need you recording saying it.
Listen, I don't want to hear people playing slur chicken with Parappa. Get my boy out of here.
I don't either.
That's what I'm saying is going to happen.
Okay?
It's hell.
Listen.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing.
I don't
literally,
approve
someone
of it.
in the chat said it. It's literally just the world's biggest con trying to convince you that autocorrect is a new technology now that it can talk to you.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Like, you have people being like, what's that? My phone? I should dump ice in the air fryer?
You're the boss.
Okay.
Perhaps I should mix bleach and various other chemicals in my sink.
Maybe I am the chosen one.
This will make a healing potion. Or the AI on Google, anytime you ask any question, it gives you the most unusable, garbled garbage. Mm-hmm. It's like, is it healthy to feed my baby 600 cigarettes a day? Yes, it is vital for a growing baby to feed it 600 cigarettes a day.
Babies love the smooth
and then you click on the link that it has there, and it links to a Reddit thread where a guy's like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, it's a Reddit post where it's someone specifically saying you should not give a baby cigarettes, and then it's just like, oh, okay, and the AI just scraped it wrong because it's stupid and it hallucinates everything. Anyway, our last bit of news here is perhaps the craziest. I'm gonna just be honest here. So MindsEye was a game that came out last year that was it was by Build a Rocket Boy, which was a developer that was it was one of the ex GTA guys, right? Was it Leslie Benzies? Yes, and it flopped completely because it was a piece of shit game that was obviously rushed and just unfinished and bad. But since that game came out, there's been claims by Leslie Benzies, as well as some of the other higher ups there, that it was not because of poor management, but it was because of outside sabotage. That the game was sabotaged. And that's why it's so bad. And there was a recent meeting with MindsEye co-CEO Mark Gerhard, who I'm just going to read the things that he said here. He has said that and this was a meeting in late January that someone like recorded the video and then leaked it to the website Insider Gaming, who Gerhard says they have, quote, caught the guys who have been sabotaging MindsEye. They claim it is a company that is a big American company that is behind the campaign, and then said it's not the company you're thinking of, which I'm not thinking of any company. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but okay. They're claiming that 1 million euros was used, or pounds. I think that's, no, I don't know. That $1 million was spent last year in this smear campaign, and that they quote unquote paid the UK-based company Ritual Network, who he says are a bunch of gangsters. They say that they paid a bunch of influencers, including Cyberboi,
that bastard,
Cyberboi.
I can't believe it.
3 journalists and people at Build a Rocket Boy to harm MindsEye and Build a Rocket Boy's reputation. He alleges that these individuals will be served in prison and criminal complaints shortly, and that the charges are for espionage, sabotage, and criminal interference. Everyone who's involved has real problems, including the company behind it. This is the start of our comeback. And apparently Ritual Network
like
is just a, like, you know, one of those, yeah, it's like one of those influencer, like, yeah, just, quote, we're a creator support program and are not involved in the matter you referenced. We're not aware of any legitimate legal action involving us and have not provided with any evidence supporting these claims. Like, okay. And then, Gerhard also said, given that this has happened to us, I'm gonna own this narrative. We will use these people, their names, and these facts for our own fun. So, IOI was originally going to be, like, partnered with Build a Rocket Boy to release MindsEye. I think they're no longer, like, involved with them anymore. But there was going to be a mission in the game, in, like, the DLC, that was going to be Hitman themed. But since IOI split off from them because they're fucking insane, that is no longer the case. But they're still going to do this spy mission DLC, apparently. And Gerhard has said, we're going to put these names of these people into our spy mission. Let's have fun with it. Let's tell the community the story before it even plays out in court. So, you know, I think this is us not being the victim. We've taken a couple punches. We've kept turning the other cheek while we got our house in order. And now it's time to start judoing this right back at them. And, you know, let's have some fun with it. At the end of the day, we're storytellers. We're game makers. So they're going to basically leak all of their claims that they're having before the court case, which I don't know too much about the law, but I feel like that might just completely invalidate everything if they just say everything in public before they can talk about it in court. I feel like that should at least maybe invalidate some things about the public representation of the information, because if you're just gonna make it a public spectacle, that makes it kind of impossible for anyone to be unbiased, even though I'm pretty sure everyone is already going to be pretty biased because they see the game and they just think that it's bad. And then the last thing that he said is that they also secretly rolled out enhanced cybersecurity software onto all the employees' computers to keylog them to try to figure out who the traitors were.
We got CEOs playing Among Us in real life.
It's, do you ever think about how bad Rockstar must be that this guy was their fixer? Not this guy talking, but like the guy who works with this guy and like made this company to a large degree.
We used to say, send in the Benz, and now
this guy's talking like he has the Benz.
I mean,
I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, like, in a week, he'll reveal it's someone else. He's like, oh no, Cyberboy, deployed by Dr. Wily, is trying to destroy my company.
Cyberboy! You've ruined us again!
He lost the vote contest, and so he had to turn to espionage in
I don't
the
know
video
if you've
games industry.
seen much about MindsEye, but it is a really weird game where it's like they sort of And I've noticed this with a lot of games recently, like even games I like Infinity Nikki and stuff, where it's just one of those games where the company was super betting on the metaverse, and like that game has like robust level creation and all this stuff under the hood, and then it's like, but they just tried to make GTA at the end of the day because they realized, oh god, this isn't it.
If I remember correctly, I think all the like tech on the underneath is because they were gonna try to release like one of those, you can create your own game and it's tied to the blockchain things. And then that never came out, and then they just made MindsEye with that tech, and then that tech was dog shit, and they made a dog shit game, and that's it. So there you go. All right, well, that's all the news. Let's go to questions. We got quite a few. You can send them to Gamesline by email. You can go to podcast@gamesline.net. I'm going to check that real quick. You can also send them in our Discord server, which is the gamezone.zone. You type that into your web browser, it'll bring you straight there, and you can send in a question in our... there's a thread on there, if you want to send that. Or you could just tweet, or not tweet. You could just reply to us on Blue Sky, and we'll get it there. Because, hey, one of these fine folks, Zach, aka, is it what's his actual artist
3
name?
a.m. Soda.
Is it 10 a.m.
3
lunch?
p.m. Soda.
3 a.m. Soda. That's the actual account.
3 p.m. Soda. All right, yeah. Good old 3 p.m. Soda.
Who knows?
Whatever. That MF that's drawn...
it's AM.
Okay, 3 a.m. Soda, that MF that's always drawing crazy anime titties, who has given us the question of the hour, the question that everyone immediately began to answer as soon as the remaster was announced, and we all had to bide our time until now to actually answer it. Who are our 4 picks for a third Poker Night at the Inventory game?
So are we picking like a whole cast, or are we each contributing one?
We could do whatever we want to do. Nikolas has pulled up an image here. If you are on the stream right now, you can see that Nikolas actually has an entire picture here.
This is my setup.
Okay, so
I thought about this extensively.
So it is Olivier. It's Michelle from Fata Morgana, right? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yep.
Perry, I want to say her name is, from Fire Emblem Fates. And then I think that's one of the guys from...
that's Eric from Zero Time Dilemma on the right.
Okay. And now
that's
you're...
the protagonist from Persona 4.
Yeah. And the dealer would be the guy from Total Drama Island, the
Chris
host.
McLean.
Uh-huh. The bartender would be Morshu.
Yeah, because he's who you have to buy drinks from.
Of course. And
then because Sam and Max are always there, they're just on the side. They're like trying to crack a case.
They're just
while
there.
You're playing the game.
I respect that greatly. I think that's a great lineup. And I respect that a lot. Do either
the positions
of you...
are extremely important. Michelle has to be stuck between Olivier and Perry. Eric has to only be next to Perry. Michelle and Eric have to be separated. This is very important. This is a puzzle, but these 4 won't, right?
I respect it. All right, what are they?
Everyone's saying it.
Do y'all have any ideas?
Morgan of the Devil. You gotta come on. It's. I liked the secondary idea someone had that her picture is just in the background and it says banned.
Yeah, that is the real answer. It's that she is not allowed to be there. Because I mean, yeah, like we gotta find out. I think that is something that we're gonna have to ask the Devil team if we're able to eventually. How does it feel to have created a character almost explicitly to be in Poker Night of the Inventory? I don't know. I gotta think of a good 4. I mean, I don't know. If you have just like one, you can just say one. I think it's kind of fun for each of us to have one.
So, what would be really funny if we wanted to keep the Olivier option with him being one at the table?
Mm-hmm.
It would be incredibly funny to force him to sit next to Gabriel from Ultra Kill, or alternatively, Daniil Dankovsky from Pathologic 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have one. I'm sorry. Hornet.
There was...
And she's saying all the fucking bug speak stuff and doesn't actually talk from Silk Song. So she's just going like, wah! Sha! Yeah.
Sha!
Or like the boku da ba da ba ba ba, you know, like that they all do.
Like, all right.
And everyone just goes like, you're disgusting. Or something like that when she says something. Shut your mouth.
It's like that post that's like C3PO and R2D2 talking, and it's like the guy from whatchamacallit, the website, the internet game.
The internet game?
Not Homestuck.
Yeah.
God, I'm blanking so bad. Yeah,
they made the first person
shooter. Yeah, he made the first person shooter in the universe of the game. I'm blanking so fucking bad right now. Oh my god, everyone's laughing at me. Oh
Duke
my god.
Nukem.
Everyone is laughing at me right now. I'm so embarrassed.
Homestuck 2, Homestuck Harder.
Oh my god. The sequel got canceled.
I have no
last
Space
year.
Outlaw?
Yes. The guy from Hypnosis Outlaw. It was the post where like it's like him responding to someone who's like in a locked account or something, and he's just like, that's nasty, and then like another post that you can't
Holy
see.
Shit. Okay,
yeah.
So what you're saying is that you want to put Zane Rocks at the table?
Zane should be at the table. Yes, that is something that I'm saying. Yeah, Zane. Also,
okay, sure. Or
Gold Ship should be at the table. We need Uma's. Yeah.
See, when we deconstruct this, like the original, like because we have, it's not just video games, it's also like web media, you know? If we could get like the funniest possible thing imaginable would be, you know, all of these other options, sure, whatever. Just put Toby Fox as the dog at the table.
The annoying dog should be the dealer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he should just walk around.
Yeah.
When you lose, he takes your money away.
Sans would actually be really good.
Wait, no.
In Poker Night, actually. Now that I think about it.
So you have to do the Sam and Max element where he was technically the one invited, but he's making Papyrus play for him, and he's just fucking around in the background.
Yeah. Spam 10 or Tenna would be really fun too. Or Queen.
We're doing the one character pick, like per person. My choice isn't any of the four that I put up. It's Sam and Max in the second game. One of them's playing, one of them isn't. I do Rosa from Umineko is at the table, and Maria is just sitting off to the side, hanging out with Sakataro. That's my individual pick. Ooh. Mama's gonna win big.
I think if I have to pick a single one, I don't know.
Olivier at the same table as Rosa would be really good.
I'm kind of hooked on the idea of someone from Undertale or Deltarune. I think Tenna would be really fun.
One of the Lethal Company
the bug.
guys.
The little tiny bug that goes around.
Oh, the bug. The loot bug. I think we've answered the heck out of this question.
Yeah, we did. Some breaking news real quick, though. There's something just got announced for Pokemon. Because they did their Super Bowl commercial. Pokemon has announced Pokemon Day Out and Pokemon Night Out events. Day Out events will focus on family-friendly activities. Night Out events will be surprises for long-term fans. So, are people getting drunk at Pokemon Night Out? What's going on? Are we getting tipsy here? That was going on? Pokemon Company? What is this?
Makes me think of like the Disney events where like the stormtroopers come to arrest you, but you're getting drunk with Pikachu. You're getting drunk and belligerent with Pikachu.
Is there going to be homosexual fast dancing at Pokemon Night Out?
I hope so.
I hope so. But that is to be seen, I suppose. I mean, there's gonna be, even if they don't explicitly tell people to do it. You know, like that's just something that's just gonna happen. So, you know,
still one of the contenders for the top posts of all time in relation to that account. Defunct Land.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you were very gay in the Garfield Dark Ride. Some of you were very gay at the Pokemon Night Out event.
Yeah. All right, we got 2 questions from Big Challenges, because one of them was last week, and then there was one from today. So, first one, if a PC game released this decade that had a TF2 cosmetic attached to it, what game would you want it to be, and what cosmetic would it be?
See, I don't want to be too Trails-brained, but I think it would be the funniest thing in the world to have a hairpiece cosmetic for all of the TF2 mercs that is just the Estelle Twin Tails. So, Trails in the Sky, like the remake, and just give everyone the Twin Tails.
I'm honestly kind of shocked now that I think about it. Like, I think this really truly goes to show that TF2 has sort of lapsed, that there are no Balatro items, you know?
Oh.
Like, I mean, just like a jester hat of some sort. Perhaps, I don't know, I'm trying to think of other, like, specific, like, jokers that they would want to reference.
Oh, I have one.
Mm-hmm.
You know how Heavy has, like, his kind of sweater fest thing going on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Replace that with something that makes him look like the King of Hearts.
Okay. I could also, I'm imagining the Scout wearing the 2 pair pants, you know, like the blue and orange pants.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, who do you think in the TF2 cast is the most likely to be addicted to Balatro?
Spy, but he wouldn't admit it.
You know what? I feel like he would get into an ego trip because the Scout would say that he, like, got to, like, the 3rd blind or whatever, and then Spy would make it his entire personality to go infinite every run.
Yeah. You would just hear from, like, the other side of the thing, non-inf! Non-inf! And they'd be like, what the fuck is going on? Rose,
TF2 is not something I think about.
I know you think TF2 is ontologically evil. It is, but
yeah.
Okay, here, Rose. I'll help you. Okay. If it was a Final Fantasy 14 cosmetic,
they should let them all dragoon
what do you
jump.
want it to be?
They should.
Scout doesn't need that.
That's what
I was just thinking of the Monster Hunter has the jump emote, and it just makes your guy disappear. And I really think it's funny because I was just picturing that of just like you use an emote and it's like they're just fucking no clip away. They're gone.
They're gone.
Most of the characters in TF2 have movement options that basically let them drag and jump, honestly.
14. Yeah. I mean, you're going to put in a fucking Namazu somehow. That would be beautiful. But we know they would just do chocobos and moguls forever. That's just what would happen in the real world. But if they put in those shitty little catfish, man, make Namazu boxing gloves for that guy.
I'd want to see, it doesn't matter which one specifically, probably Default or Flog. I'd want to, Dragon's Fury would also be really good too. I'd want to see a reskin of one of those, but with the Ultra Kill Street Cleaner flamethrower and like a mask for the pyro that makes their head that machine's head. That would be really cool. You could also do the Gabriel mask for pyro. That one feels like the sort of thing they would go with. Sure.
I'm looking at like the stuff that they have done crossovers with.
They're bonkers, you know? It's like, the Brutal Legend hairpiece and guitar emote, or the Saints Row Lucha mask, and the Shogun 3, I forget what they even added.
You can look like
Magic the Gathering Duels of the Planeswalkers.
Actually, wasn't one of Pyro's axes like from a now defunct MMO? Like the fire axe was from Rift, I think it was called.
Let me see. The Sun on a Stick and the Sharpened Volcano Fragment.
Yeah, from Rift.
Which, those are like pretty popular, yeah.
Actually, wasn't there another one from that one game that was trying to... It was like Sunday Night Combat or something?
Monday Night Combat, yeah.
Yeah, Monday Night Combat.
Mm-hmm. Which that had the same thing. I have like copies of Monday Night Combat that are stuck in my Steam.
Me too.
Yeah, because they shut it down, so they're just sitting in my inventory because I can't do anything about it. I can't even delete them.
You want to know what's really funny about my Discord account?
Mm-hmm.
I was in the alpha for Lawbreakers. And Lawbreakers didn't have a voice over IP thing. What it would do was dynamically generate Discord lobbies every time you joined a match.
Oh my god.
And now my account is permanently integrated with Lawbreakers, and I can't make it go away.
That's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty good.
Do you know those Pony
That's really
games
funny.
where it's like the blobs and you put them together and then they go into the thing? Like they make bigger blobs. They're like mobile games in Japan. Okay, so they do a crossover with Hello Kitty Island Adventure, and they just shoot the fucking Pony versions, like the little blob versions of every Sanrio character as Demo Man explosives, and that's my crossover.
Mm-hmm.
You're just fucking shooting like a Kuromi bean at someone.
Okay, fantastic. All right. The other question the big challenge has for us is, because Super Bowl is copyrighted, there's a copyright-friendly term used in a lot of the ads. The big game. What are video games you would describe in similar terms? What are the big game?
In a negative sense,
games?
It's probably like GTA, Call of Duty, right? Like the mainstream big games. But if you want to talk in the real world,
Fortnite.
It's Pokemon. Every year.
I mean, for a long time, Madden was the big release that meant
the floodgates are open.
We're here for the fucking yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I would say Madden is kind of that still. Well, not really
everything comes
right
out in
now, but
February.
it was for a while.
In March.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy is still the big game. Also, I would say.
Any other answers on that
comes
one?
out, like, regardless of quality.
That is true.
It is.
Yeah.
Everyone goes, damn, it's coming out. It's the big game. Yeah.
We got a new one.
It even has the Roman numerals.
That is also true. All right. Cello Buster asks, "It's a Super Bowl. What bowl in your house is your favorite? You have a favorite bowl? I don't. I'm not gonna lie. I will say, I guess the only bowl related thing that I will say is that I usually use like a nice like porcelain bowl for most. I use a porcelain bowl for like wet food, like your soups, etc. And then I'll use the more plasticky bowl for like chips, like your dry fruit.
I like flat bowls that are almost like plates, but then they have like a big, nice, firm rim around it. I don't know how to put it. Like I just like flatter bowls that like still have depth to them, so you can fit a lot inside or whatever, and it's comfortable and avoids spillage and stuff like that. But like that, it still has those walls and everything, so it's not like a plate.
Of course.
Yeah, it lets you plate soup easier, so
they're
like the
wider,
chunkies are sticking out of the fluid.
Yeah, I don't like normal bowls that much, unless it's like for like a chili or something.
So I've recently been on a kick with like earthenware bowls, because they just hold heat really well, and even for my deadened fingers, I can still hold the bowl and feel the warmth, and I just really enjoy like I like the imperfections of a handcrafted bowl. And I have this one that's kind of like it's very clearly hand painted, and they did not do the best job, but it makes me love it more. And it kind of has like this thumb divot that I can balance it on my hand, and that's my favorite bowl.
Yeah. How about yourself, Nikolas? Do you have a favorite bowl?
When I was a little wee baby boy, I made a bowl for my dad for his birthday. That I
Hell yeah.
made in a kiln at like a place near our house to let you do it, and then painted it afterwards. I think he used it like twice ever. And I always felt bad about using it because like that's his, even though he wasn't ever using it. So that's my favorite bowl. It's the only bowl I have a story attached to, even if that bowl got used like 3 times in its entire life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where it is now, but it exists. Probably. It probably exists.
All right, our last question is from Maverick. Hello, Maverick. He asks, what moment of gaming history or esports would you make a film adaptation of?
This is cheating. What was the E3 where Nintendo was Muppets?
I don't remember exactly,
So I
but I know
can
you're
get a
talking
full
about.
Muppets movie of Nintendo.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a movie of that, and it focuses on the Nintendo Muppets, and they meet the real Muppets.
Moment in gaming history.
I mean, I feel like it would be fun to do like a hyper ridiculous, intentionally historically inaccurate version of like the history of Masters of Doom.
Yeah, I would watch like a somewhat, like if they just did like a biography kind of like a BlackBerry kind of version of Masters of Doom, I would watch that.
I just had one. Oh, the Kinect. I would make it about the Kinect because specifically I want you to envision the super hyper dramatized version of when that guy did the you want to see what the bottom of an Avatar shoe looks like. So it's like showing that footage and then it gets back to
there it is.
What is he doing? We told him not to. And they like start beating the shit out of him when he gets backstage again. Like, you weren't supposed to show them that.
Yeah, I don't like. There could maybe be an interesting movie about. I don't know. I kind of want to just read a book about like what went on at Microsoft back then. But like the thing is that I feel like you also need to have what's currently going on at Microsoft right now because of how insane everything seems to be back there. Like I genuinely would love to read a book that is just like from the Xbox One to when they inevitably fall out of the console race, basically. Excuse me. I mean, I think it could be interesting to do some sort of movie about, like, I know that they've been trying to like make like a console wars movie for ages, like the Sega Nintendo stuff. I don't know if that's.
It has to be dramatized. It has to be insane.
Like some of that's kind of interesting, but like it's not that drama. Yeah, like I don't think there's like enough like interesting character there, like as interesting as I find it to be, I don't think a normal human being would be like the struggles of Howard Phillips, like I don't know.
Enough time has passed since the release of The Wizard. We need a successor. We need a movie about a shitty peripheral that nobody likes.
PlayStation Move Genie.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Rose was talking about the Kinect earlier. Yeah, there you go.
Here's a kid who's mastered the Call of Duty market exclusively.
So this is more of a documentary I'd want. Not to bastardize the concept or anything, but I genuinely, sincerely want a documentary about every single canceled live service game that Sony has canceled in the last, 4 years. Because it's 15 games from established places. And it's just what the hell was going on?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was...
I don't know, I'm trying to think of just, what
other...
What
was that fucking Spider-Man game
What other,
called?
Interesting things?
It was Into the Web, or no, it was what was it? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
But it was
the
called something
Spider-Verse
insane.
thing. I don't remember what it's called, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah. God, I don't know. I would. This is kind of crazy, but maybe I would love an overly dramatic dramatization of the history of Type Moon.
Well, you would just get constant points where it's showing Nasu talking or whatever. Well, also first it has to be a romance between Nasu and Takeuchi. But if it was a realistic one, you would have Nasu saying a bunch of stuff, and then it would cut to Takeuchi and be like, "That's not true. That didn't happen. Not true." Yeah,
I mean that's Masters of Doom too. I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
He's like talking over a version of the movie where he'll just interrupt it to say that. And then it comes back to the movie.
God.
Masters of Doom, but it keeps turning into that one behind the scenes thing about RoboCop needing Oreo.
I'm just always thinking of that Nasu
Oh
quote.
my
That's
God.
like, when I asked for the money to make Fate Stay Night or whatever, was this beautiful sun. The sun was setting. We were on the balcony. I looked into his eyes and said, please. And he put his hands on my shoulders and said, we'll make your dream come true no matter what. And I felt like I was in love. And it's just like, all right, man.
Oh boy.
There should be like a Lion King 1.5 style thing for some event in gaming history. Where like,
Oh, sure.
it's like a normal documentary until someone shows up and you watch it back and they've been influencing the entire like series of history, and it just turns into a comedy.
Sure.
I couldn't think of a funny enough combination for that. I like the idea of like a hapless janitor accidentally getting every single live service game canceled.
Mhm.
But there's not like a funny personality I can throw on that.
And I mean, I will say that like Maverick also mentioned esports stuff. Like it'd probably be pretty easy to make some sort of like Street Fighter, like Third Strike, like Daigo and Justin Wong kind of thing. I don't like these people, but I would love for there to be not a documentary, because every documentary is just kissing their ass. I would like for someone to do some kind of like weird like Smash Bros. Melee thing. Like I want them to do a film about the gods of Melee and just be like, these are these fucking freaks. Like, I don't know. Like, I think you could make something out of that. Because the thing is, I don't want it to just be like, oh, they're gamers. I would want it to be something where it's like, here are these extremely bizarre personalities that are built around Super Smash Bros. Melee and are still playing this exact same game and have been for like 25 years. You know, like I think there is an interesting story there, but I wouldn't want it to be the way that all the documentaries about Melee are, where it's like, oh my god, fucking, you know, Hungry Box, he's the best, you know. Like, I don't want that, you know. I want it to be something that is honest, honest about these weirdos.
A movie paced like a disaster/tragedy movie about Bayonetta getting added to Smash 4. And like the culmination is the one match where they're both firing the gun at each other for like a minute straight with like really sad emotional music playing.
Yeah, oh my god. I watched that live. That was rough. All right. Well, I think that about does it, everybody. I think we're done talking about gaming for the week. That was a good one. I thought it was. I don't know about you all, but I had fun.
Sorry, I managed to bring it above 3 hours again.
It's all good, because we're done now. If you want to follow our continued adventures, you can go to gamesline.net, which is the website for our postings. I just posted an article that I am pretty proud of. I just found out while we were recording.
Yay.
I got the critical distance nod. Yay! For the Milano odd job collection article that I did, where I ranked the jobs based on how much I would want to do them. I had fun with that. It was funny. So please check that out. We do have other articles up there, and we've got more articles coming down the pipeline. Like Spencer just posted something about Final Fantasy 14. What else do we have? I mean, we have all our Game of the Year stuff, you know? Obviously, you heard about that earlier. But, hey, there was a lot of stuff that got posted. So hop on that. Take a look at Game of the Year content if you didn't see it yet. Hop on that shit. And then, yeah, if you can also follow us on Blue Sky, which is also gamesline.net. You have to go on to Blue Sky and then look up gamesline.net. That's how that works. We have our Tumblr, gamesline.tumblr.com. We're not really using it that much, I guess. That website seems like it's probably going to like crash and burn anytime soon. So, I guess just follow us on
Don't
Blue
say
Sky.
that. My anime PNGs.
I'm sorry, but the CEO actively blogged about being a vibe coder now, and then as soon as he posted that, like 2 hours later, the website went down for like 5 hours. So, I don't know what to tell you.
I need to evacuate my anime women like the carbon monoxide alarm is going off.
You gotta get out of you gotta prep for disaster here. You can go onto our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@signthegamesline, where we upload our VODs as well as any other video content. And if you're watching us live on Twitch, then you don't need to hear this, but if you're just listening to the podcast, we stream our podcast live on twitch.tv/GameslineTV. We have been doing it on Sundays. We are talking about moving the day. We are not 100% sure right this second. We will let you know. So I would recommend you go to our Discord server, thegamezone.zone, and that'll probably be where you find out when we do change it. If we do. We might not. I don't know. We'll let you know on the Discord server and also probably on the Blue Sky. And you can also go to patreon.com/gamesline to give us money if you so choose. We would love that. It's been a very long time since we've done the anime podcast, but maybe soon. Maybe. And thank you to Melt Channel / Magic Circuit for our theme song Crush off of the album Magic is Real. If you want to listen to their stuff, it's meltchannel.bandcamp.com or magic-circuit.bandcamp.com. You can buy their music at any time, but I will always recommend the best time to do it. Bandcamp Friday, the first Friday of every month. Always remember that. Lily, where can people find you online?
You can find me at galilisdatura.bsky.social.
Nikolas, how about you?
You can find me at cersicactus.bsky.social.
fatamorgana.bsky.social. Yeah, that's basically it.
You can find me at john.gamesline.net on Blue Sky. I got the URL. You know how it is. All right. Well, that will do it, everybody. Thank you so very much for being on this time and for sticking it out. And we will be back next week with another episode of the Gamesline Podcast.
Again.
Yes, again.
Bye.
Goodbye.